Bank, member FDIC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is, when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip.
With your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now,
a man who has not one, but 3 first names.
David Scott Kelly.
And he'll leave it for Shellstead. Outstanding freshman, Oregon native, and there's a steal. Taken away by Whiteman. He'll feed it off to Johnson. Lay it up, missed, no good, but a foul called on Oregon. How about that?
So you start the walk-on in Grant Whiteman. You feel like it's just a feel-good moment, and my man gets a steal on the first possession.
Grant Whiteman out of South Point Catholic High School. Just wish the Keyshot had finished that on the shot. He did get the 2 free throws. Unfortunately, Grant doesn't get an assist for that. But we always talk about, again, it was a pass that led to points. Doesn't go in the box score as an assist, but an assist on the film nonetheless for Grant Whiteman in what was a 103-83 win for the Arizona Wildcats on Saturday at McHale Center to wrap up the home portion of the schedule. We've got the new AP poll out. Houston remains number 1 in the poll that was announced today. Kansas out of the top 10 for the first time in 3 years. How about that? 52 first-place votes for Houston, 26-3. They went on the road. Kelvin Sampson going back to his former stomping ground in Norman, Oklahoma. They got a win. 87-85 was not easy, but they won. UConn is now number 2. They are also 26-3. They got 6 first-place votes. Purdue drops to number 3. They got 4 first-place votes. Tennessee is 4. They're 23-6. Arizona is 5. They are 23-6. Arizona goes on the road to Los Angeles this weekend. I love scenarios. J-Dub, do you love scenarios?
Sounds
like a cereal.
Specific. I love some scenarios. Sure.
You like scenarios? Well, I'm about to lay on you all the scenarios. But before I lay you all
do I need a calculator?
Yeah, you should. No, I don't know if you need a calculator for this.
Okay.
Just your mind.
Okay.
And the ability to process.
I'll do my best.
Exactly. But before I give you scenarios, why don't we go back to McHale Center on Saturday and hear how it all went down against the Ducks?
Let's do that.
And he'll leave it for Shellstead. Outstanding freshman, Oregon native, and there's a steal. Taken away by Whiteman. He'll feed it off to Johnson. Lay it up, missed, no good, but a foul called on Oregon. How about that?
So you start the walk-on in Grant Whiteman. You feel like it's just a feel-good moment, and my man gets a steal on the first possession.
The side of the iron, no good. Krivas the rebound for the Wildcats. They head to Boswell the other way. Works his way down top of the key. Fires a three. Got it! Oh my! Kylan Boswell with his second Lexus of Tucson Charity three. 10 points here in the first half off the bench for Boswell. Couisnard drives down the lane. Shot up, blocked by Ballo, grabbed by Love. Cats on the run with numbers. Love down, Love in the lane, shovel it underneath. Bradley, pump fake, scores two. Boswell crosses midcourt. A deep three is up and good again. Oh my! Kylan Boswell lighting up McHale. Looking, finally gets it out to Love. Ballo setting a screen, Love around it to the free throw line, throw it inside. Omar with the left hand, slam it down with the hammer. Couisnard into the lane. His runner is short, but there's Dante to put it in.
Might have been a pass there as Couisnard laid it off to the big man.
Dante with 10 points here in the first half. Larson the rebound for the Wildcats. Feed ahead to Love on the run the other way. Throw it inside for Johnson, and Keshad slams it home for two. 7 points for Keshad. Loose picked up by Boswell. Cats on the run. Numbers again. Ahead to Love. Love quickly down to the right baseline. Out to Boswell for three. Why not? He can't miss. Boswell, another Lexus of Tucson Charity three. 51-28 Arizona. 19 points for Boswell in the first half. The rebound loose, picked up by Shellstead. Ducks will run it quickly to Couisnard. Fumble the ball, got it back, drives to the bucket, throw it up and good. Couisnard right now with some magical shots, and Tommy Lloyd calling a timeout here. Quickly down to Love. Love will drive on Rigsby in the lane. His runner is up, it goes, and he's fouled. Oh my! He got the roll, he loves it, and he'll go to the free throw line. Couisnard grabs it for Oregon. Gets a new shot clock here. Corner three is up and good. Boy, Couisnard right now has absolutely taken over the game for Oregon. Dante a screen. Couisnard, he'll shoot a three instead. Missed back of the rim. Rebound out to Evans. Stolen away by Love. Caleb on a breakaway windmill jam. 94-67 Cat. Larson, feed it left side for Love. Back top for Larson. Tella going to drive. Dish right corner. Keshad for three, and he drains it. Keshad Johnson with his second Lexus of Tucson Charity three of the half. 97-69 Arizona. Caleb to the free throw line. Pump fake there in the lane. A leaner is too strong. No good. Rebound tipped out to Johnson. Back to Larson, and he'll jump a three. It is good for Pella Larson. Well, Pella, not quite Couisnard, but he's got 18 in the second half. Right corner, three ball, off the rim, no good by Oquendo. Cats with the rebound, here's Love. The other way, Caleb, lead pass ahead to Johnson, beats the defense and lays it in.
What a pass as Keshad Johnson didn't tip his hand. He waited to the last minute to look up like a wide receiver in football. He outran Dante.
And Keshad Johnson joins the 1,000-point club with that bucket. Caleb Love, the first senior to leave. Standing O from the fans here at McHale. Martinez replacing. Here comes Keshad out of the ball game. Borovichin will check in, and Pella Larson the next to go out. And what a day for the senior. 22 points, 4 rebounds, 8 of 14 shooting. And a wave to the crowd and a hug from his coach. Mo Krivas going to check in. Umar Ballo with his double-double will sit down. 11 points, 12 boards for Big O. Grant Whiteman will get a standing ovation as the 5th senior to leave. Well, couldn't ask for a better day. And everyone just standing here to salute this team as the home schedule will come to an end. And the Wildcats will win their 23rd game. People hold on first place in the Pac-12. Arizona 103, Oregon 83. That's your final.
What a senior day it was at McHale Center. The call there of Brian Jeffries, Ryan Hansen. You heard it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So I promised scenarios. Are you ready for scenarios?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Arizona, 14-4 in the Pac-12 conference. Washington State, 14-5 in the Pac-12 conference. So the Wildcats have a half-game lead with one less in the loss column. Colorado and Oregon right now sitting in 3-4 to 11-7. They do not play into these scenarios because they are 3 back with just 2 to play. So here's what has to happen this week. Arizona plays twice. Washington State plays once. Arizona wins at UCLA Thursday night. Arizona wins at Southern California on Saturday. They are the outright Pac-12 champions and the number 1 seed for the tournament in Las Vegas. That's one scenario. Arizona splits in Los Angeles. Washington State wins their lone remaining game against Washington. They will share the title, but Washington State is the number 1 seed by way of their 2 victories over the Arizona Wildcats. You with me so far?
I'm with you.
Okay.
Not super complicated yet.
Arizona gets swept in Los Angeles. Lord forbid. But it could happen. Washington State wins. Washington State is the outright Pac-12 champion and the number 1 seed. Now, there is a scenario. There is a scenario where Arizona could lose both games and still win the Pac-12 conference outright. That would have to, if that happens, Washington State would need to lose on Thursday night to Washington. So if both teams lose all 3 games, Arizona is the outright champion. If both teams win all 3 games, Arizona is the outright champion and the number 1 seed. Anything else is either a shared title, a Washington State title, or I should say, and the Cougars are the number 1 seed at the Pac-12 tournament, and Arizona is number 2. So the Wildcats control their own destiny. Win, and you're in as the number 1 seed in Las Vegas.
Now, Arizona joined the conference in the late 70s,
Yes.
77, and they've won 17 Pac-12 titles since they joined the conference. 2 of those were shared. So they've won co-champions of the conference twice in 89-90. That was with Gary Payton's senior team. The Oregon State Beavers and Arizona. They both tied. And then in 2016, Oregon and Arizona also tied atop. So of the 17 titles Arizona's won, 15 of them are outright. 2 of them have been shared.
Yeah. It's more fun. Again, anytime you finish first, they're going to put it up on the wall. It feels a lot better when it's all yours and nobody else's, for sure. And definitely you want to have the number 1 seed, I think, in the Pac-12 tournament. Regardless, the Wildcats and the Cougars are both going to have Wednesday of next week off while they watch the other teams in the other 8 teams battle it out to decide who gets to play on Thursday in the quarterfinals. Should be interesting. We'll get to Las Vegas. 2 weeks in Las Vegas is straight ahead. 2 weeks in Las Vegas.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Scary.
All right.
Who's going to be in charge of you?
Who's going to be in charge of you?
Well, exactly. Who's
the
watching all of
question.
us?
Who's going to be in charge of you 2 while I'm gone? Like I told Kelvin, don't break the building while Big Brother is gone.
Exactly.
You know?
Yes.
My goodness, I don't know who's going to be in charge of me. Hopefully not the police, right?
I hope that's not the case.
Hopefully not the Las Vegas PD. We don't want that to happen.
No.
How was the weekend? Anything exciting?
No. What about
No.
you guys? Well, You work.
We worked. I thought I was going to play some pickleball yesterday. It didn't happen, but we did have a nice dinner down. Have you ever eaten down at the Corbett's, the new pickleball extravaganza down?
No, but I hear it's
off of
awesome.
West 4th. Yeah, the food down there is really, really good. I've not had anything yet that I do not like.
Oh, good.
Down there. It's fabulous.
It sounds like the Trident
It
for
is.
me. Yeah.
It is. It's just it's a it's a really fun place to go. Especially they have everything. They've got the pickleball there. They had movies. I think they were
Really?
showing a movie. They've got TVs all over the place. But then they've got the stage outside where you'll have bands that'll play up there. You'll have DJs to perform up there. Our guy Earn Dollars was performed there on New Year's Eve. I think Pork Chop has performed there as well from Kim FM. So, and then Sunday they were showing a movie. I think it was one of the Harry Potter movies. Were you ever
That's
into the
cool.
whole Harry Potter genre? That's a little bit past my.
I'm a little maybe too old for that.
Yes,
Drew.
I think
Maybe a
we
little
probably
bit, yeah.
all are. Anything there on Harry Potter? J-Dub?
Well, I
No?
mean, I'm a true fan of fantasy and
Sci-fi.
sci-fi, but that's like bubblegum. That's more made for young
Ooh,
adults. So I mean,
okay.
I definitely have friends who are super into. I never read any of the books,
Yeah.
but as far as the writing style and character development and everything, it doesn't compare to Tolkien or anything like that. So it's
Right.
not. It's very good entertainment, right? I wouldn't say that I was I was never like a fanboy of the Harry Potter series by no stretch. But
Okay.
I'll tell you what, like my biggest problem is there were 9 movies and I think there were 8 directors. So
Oh, gosh.
it's very disjointed.
Right.
They don't have
Oh.
the
They
same
did
tone.
9 Harry Potter movies?
Something like that.
Wow.
The
I did
last
not
couple
know
were
that.
split in the last couple
Jeez.
books they split into multiple movies.
That's
so.
a lot.
That's
That's a
a
lot.
I am Harry Potter adjacent. I have a lot of friends who are very into the Harry Potter world, so I'm familiar.
I just looked up and I saw one scene where he was who's the character? What's his name?
Harry.
Hey, is that Harry? He was riding around on a. He was riding
The
around
main
on,
character's name, believe it or not, is Harry Potter.
he was
so
riding around.
shocking.
He was riding around on a broomstick. So I didn't really. I was like, okay, is he a,
You'd have to give me more
a
information. I
sorcerer
think they
or
all
is he
do
a
that.
witch? I didn't understand, but he was riding on a broomstick.
I don't know what they're called.
I thought only witches rode on broomsticks, and I found out on Sunday that Harry Potter can ride around on a broomstick.
Yeah, they do.
So-
Broomsticks for sure.
Indeed. Cricket, I hear you've got tickets coming up a little bit later.
Oh, do I? Okay, good.
Yes. I hear that. So we'll stay tuned because Cricket's got tickets falling out of her pockets for you later on. I don't think it's a ticket to get on the plane. Well, I'm not flying. I'm driving. So it is not a ticket to get into my passenger seat and go with me to Las Vegas.
You buy
Oh.
snacks, and DK will take care of the gas.
Oh, my gosh.
Who's DJ?
I got snacks. Let me tell you. I got
You do.
groceries
You're
in
a
my
pro.
car right now.
You're a pro road tripper.
I got
Gotta
all
do it
kinds
right.
of good stuff. All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together with collisions reported at McGee and La Cunada, Broadway west of Kolb Road at Jessica, and overnight on northbound I-19 near Ruby Road, some lane restrictions for overhead sign work overnight 2 a.m. until 5 a.m. 46 and clear overnight, 74, partly cloudy tomorrow with a 50% chance of rain on Thursday, and it is 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. Juicy Juice is 100% juice, which means Juicy Juice is only sweetened by the fruit, with no sugar added, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial sweeteners. Try all of the delicious flavors. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Rashada will take the snap, play fake, sets up, looking to throw, nowhere to go. Now he'll run it to the near side, being chased and sacked. Back at the 41-yard line, Jacob Manu.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Tucson, it's time for the Cologuard Classic by Exact Sciences, March 8th through the 10th. Now at La Paloma Country Club and the Westin La Paloma Resort and Spa. See some of golf's greatest players compete for the coveted Conquistadors Helmet Trophy. It's PGA Tour Champions Golf at its finest. And Friday night, under the stars, see Midland and Roger Klein and the Peacemakers live in concert at Rito Park. The Cologuard Classic by Exact Sciences, benefiting colorectal cancer awareness in youth sports. Tickets and more at cologuardclassic.com.
Get
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Broadway in Tucson presents the Rockin' 2023-2024 season featuring 8 blockbuster productions including Disney's Aladdin, The Book of Mormon, Hairspray, and Chicago. Enjoy the Southern Arizona musical premieres of Tina, the Tina Turner musical, Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Time of the Temptations, MJ the Musical, and Mrs. Doubtfire. Secure your choice season tickets today and get the ultimate in flexibility and the lowest prices all season. Visit BroadwayInTucson.com and secure your season tickets today.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey everybody, this is Dan Bespris, host of Fantasy NBA Today, a daily fantasy basketball podcast. We cover every box score from every game, every day. Plus bonus shows on buy low opportunities, players to stash, schedule analysis, and really anything you could need to smash your league into deliciously tiny pieces.
Catch the Fantasy NBA Today podcast, part of the Believe Network, on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, text app, APP, text app to 520-848-1290. I'll shoot you a link on your phone. You can download our app, and our app slaps. It's got the best coverage here in Southern Arizona that you're going to find of pretty much everything going on within the state of Arizona. Right now, if you head on over to our app, the top story at the moment is the performance last night by one Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who went for 30 points again as the Thunder came into the Valley and beat the Suns 118-110. SGA, 35 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals in that game last night. Your boy Chet had 14 and 9 for the Thunder. They've won 7 of their last 8 ball games. Yusef Nurkic, How about a franchise record 31 rebounds for him in that game last night? We'll hear from him coming up a little bit later on his performance as the Suns fell last night on national television. It was a bad night all around because before the Suns fell on national television, my Cavaliers fell on national television to the Knicks, who did not have Jalen Brunson for most of the game. He got hurt in like the first minute.
Yeah.
And the Cavaliers played without Donovan Mitchell, who's got a knee thing going on. He's missed now 4 of the last 7 games. There was a lot of star power missing in that game. But
I watched that Suns game. Before that, I watched the Pacers-Spurs game. Just because I think the Pacers are my favorite team to watch these days. It's really like the style that they play. And obviously having 2 former Wildcats on the roster is helpful. TJ almost went crazy career high style. Like he had 25 with about 10 minutes to go in the game. His career high is 27, I believe. He was something like 11 for 12 from the field at that point. So TJ McConnell was the one keeping them in the game. But Wemby did his stuff again, DK. 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks for the second game in a row. 4th time he's done that in his freshman rookie year. That puts him 7th on the list all time of players who've ever accomplished that feat. Because he had 5 assists and 5 blocks in the same game. You got to be able to see the floor and also be able to get up and challenge guys at the rim. So not a super common thing. The other crazy stat is only 3 rookies have ever accomplished that feat. They're all Spurs. So Duncan did it, Admiral did it, and now Wemby's done it. The only rookies. Now, obviously, blocks weren't counted until after Wilt and Bill Russell and those guys retired. I'm sure they would have accomplished that as well. But, yeah, it was crazy. And Nurkic, man, he basically got every single rebound in that game. Okay,
30 rebounds.
One other interesting note, you mentioned Shai. SGA, right? That's his 45th 30-point game this year, leads all players.
Yeah.
What if I told you that he's never scored more than 45 points in his entire career? So think about that. He's had 45 30-point games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Never scored more than 45 in a game. 44 is his career high.
Yeah.
So he gets 30 every single time out. But their team's actually good enough that he's resting some fourth quarters these days. But it's not like he's out there, putting shots up just to put numbers up. Never scored more than 44 points for a guy who is, among the league leaders in scoring this year and last year and next year and every year that he stays healthy. He's going to be. He's that good.
Luka Doncic was the Western Conference Player of the Month for the month of February. This past month, you mentioned Victor Wembanyama and his feat of 25 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 5 blocks 4 straight times. What is it about the air in Texas? Because the guy that leads that list is Hakeem Olajuwon, who obviously played for the Houston Rockets with 28. He did that 28 times.
Yeah.
In his career.
You'd have to be agile enough to be able to. In modern basketball, a guy like Nurkic is a good example, can rack up assists by posting and then seeing any extra defensive attention and finding open shooters, because the NBA is all about finding open shooters nowadays. So centers can rack up assists nowadays by finding open shooters because it's so three-point heavy. Back in those days, Olajuwon's days, it was really more finding cutters going through the lane and things like that. So having the vision to be able to rack up 5 assists consistently along with those 5 blocks, that's why it makes it so rare. I don't think it as much as Texas is just the luck of the Rockets and the Spurs to be able to, because they also, that Rockets team, right? That was on the heels of drafting some guy out of Virginia, Ralph Sampson, who was the number 1 pick in the draft. So they got Olajuwon, 4 years after getting Sampson. So yeah, the Spurs and the Rockets, along with, I would say, the Magic are in that category too. They got, Shaq and also Dwight Howard, some other guys down that making that list. There's just some franchises, DK, that are blessed with big men, I guess.
You mentioned T.J. McConnell. Did you see the tweet by one Sean Miller?
I did not.
Okay, so Sean Miller yesterday after TJ's performance tweeted out, "They told me he wasn't an NBA player."
Right.
9 years later, I guess they were wrong.
Yeah. I think Lute, not that Twitter was around, but Lute said basically the same thing about Steve Kerr 9 years into his NBA career as well, right? I mean, there's something to be said about guys who are scrappy and always find themselves in the right place, right spot on the court because they're just cerebral and smart enough to read offenses and figure out where they need to be. TJ's not changed anything since he played here at Arizona outside of consistently being able to knock down a 12 to 14 footer. I mean, that's where he's living these days, especially baseline. You remember TJ's always going baseline and going all the way under the hoop to the other side. He still does that. But being able to knock down those 10 to 14 foot jumpers, I would say consistently, is the reason why he's really doing a lot more damage. Just super efficient too. I don't know what he ended up that game with. I'd have to double check, but I know he was like 10 for 11 at one point in that game. Let's see. He went 13 for 15 from the field. DK.
Wow.
Made 13 out of 15 made field goals for a guy who people said couldn't shoot. That was why they said he couldn't make it to the NBA. Clearly, maybe you put a couple more inches on him. He's a little short for that position. But as far as his ability to play back, he's clearly a very, heady kind of guy. It was just a question of if you're 6'1", 6'2"-ish and not the fastest guy on the court, how do you stay in that league without being able to knock down an open shot? And that was always the question with TJ. But he's 13 for 15, DK. That says it all.
And somebody, I don't know, apparently somebody in the locker room, Sean's retweet was off of an Indiana Pacers tweet where they quoted someone, they don't say who it is, saying that TJ is the best backup point guard in the NBA. He changes games.
I was watching that game last night, and the one thought that came to my mind was the first 2 weeks of the season, we had a conversation. We played some comments from his coach, which was that we love TJ McConnell. He's the best. But Andrew Nembhard is coming. He's a second-year player out of Gonzaga, and he's going to be the backup point guard, and TJ might not be in the rotation this year. That's what his coach said to start the year. And obviously they've had some injuries. Halliburton was down for a bit. I think Nembhard was out for a couple of games as well. But you just can't keep TJ. When TJ does his thing, DK, you know it from the start. You know it when he gets in the game. He either has 5 assists in his first 5 minutes or is knocking down shots, and that's just been this year. I think he's had 4 20-point games this year is what I heard last night on the broadcast. So he went from not being in the rotation to maybe having his best statistical category year of his career. So that's – and the Pacers, obviously, super high-paced. You get a lot of shots in that offense.
They are kind of just even right now. The 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost 2 in a row, and they have fallen into the play-in round, now sitting on the number 8 seed in the Eastern Conference. Have the Pacers. They're 15 games off the pace. Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland, New York, Philadelphia, and Orlando right now. The 6 teams that are in the playoffs on the Eastern Conference side and not having to play in the play-in process. 520-848-1290. Again, 520-848-1290. We started by telling you about our app there and all of that information you want to find out about what happened with the Suns last night. You can find out on our app. Also on our app right now, the Diamondbacks signing Elvis Andrus. Played a long time with the Texas Rangers, was with the White Sox last year. He's 35 years old, a 2-time All-Star, so another guy to bolster up that middle infield for the Diamondbacks as they work their way through spring training, and we'll see kind of where that goes. Interesting name there to get. A lot of still. I mean, it's probably one of the more interesting baseball off seasons, just because there's so many talented free agents that are still on the market, and we're going on week 3 now of spring training, and there's still guys out there. So there's talent to be had by some of these teams as this new era of Major League Baseball, the free agent market gets a little bit whacked in terms of the timing. Back in the day, everybody was signed by the end of January or the middle of January. Now you got guys that are still unsigned 3 weeks into spring training. So it's a little bit odd from that respect. We mentioned in the first segment that the Arizona Wildcats men's basketball team up to number 5 in the top 25. And I mentioned the Jayhawks, who lost last week. They've lost a number of games of late. 21-8 now. They dropped 7 spots. The biggest drop this week as they fell out of the top 10 to 14 after losing to BYU at home and then losing at Baylor on Saturday. This is the Jayhawks' worst ranking since they were number 15 back 3 seasons ago. So it's been a while since they've not been in the top 10. The rest of your top 10 after Arizona at 5, Iowa State, future Big 12 opponent, at number 6. They're 23-6. North Carolina is 23-6. They're number 7. Marquette is 8 at 22-7. Duke is also 23-6. A team U of A beat at 9. And Creighton comes in at number 10. They are 22-8. The rest of it lines up: Baylor, Illinois, Auburn, Kansas, Kentucky, Alabama, South Carolina. Washington State is at 18 after their sweep of the Los Angeles schools, and they rallied again on Saturday after being down J-Dub early in that game against the Bruins to come back and win. I tweeted on our station account over the weekend, Wazoo is not going away.
Yeah. I mean, it looked for a minute there. I think they were down 10. I checked the score, and it was like 25-16, I want to say. So they were down by 9 early. But, yeah, I mean, a lot of that's not a team you want to overlook, DK, moving forward into the rest of the college basketball season, because I could see them knocking off any number of teams across the country, as we've seen them beat Arizona twice. Arizona definitely among the top 5 program teams in the country this season. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if they have to put it all together or if they just have to keep playing the way they've been doing, but that's a scary team come March. I mean, we're in March, DK, so that's a scary team come now.
Yeah. The rest of the top 25 after Washington State, Gonzaga. How about the Zags going on the road and beating a previously unbeaten in conference St. Mary's over the weekend? And they not only beat them, they blew them out, did the Bulldogs over the weekend. BYU is 20, San Diego State 21, Utah State, St. Mary's, South Florida, and Dayton round out your top 25 on the men's side. All right, 520-848-1290. We've got much more in store for you today. We're going to talk about what's coming up this week. DK on the Sports Tip is going on the road to Las Vegas. We'll tell you about that for the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament. We'll get into what is happening there this weekend. The Wildcats, where they are sitting heading into the tournament off of 2 losses to the top 10 ranked LA schools, and what they've got in store, for this week. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket gets you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions that are reported: McGee and La Cañada, Broadway west of Kolb Road, Broadway and Jessica, Irvington and Campbell, also Cortero at I-10, some slowing on eastbound Grant Road at Columbus. And for your weather overnight tonight, mostly clear skies, 46, the low 74, partly cloudy tomorrow, 50% chance of rain on Thursday, 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. No matter what the day brings, count on Juicy Juice for the good stuff. Give kids the nutrients of real 100% fruit juice to help them conquer the day with no sugar added and no artificial sweeteners. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
This is what a party sounds like. This is what O'Reilly's 100-year anniversary party will sound like. Save the date. It's March 23rd, right here at the dealership.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
You know it. Your neighbors know it. And let's face it, the mailman knows it too. Your yard just isn't what it used to be. But thankfully, Dorado Rock Materials can get you, well, your yard anyway, back to what it once was, and even better. Dorado Rock and Materials has just what your yard needs, from decorative rock to boulders and everything in between, brought right to you. And if you need help spreading it, we can help with that too. Dorado Rock and Materials. The right service, the right product, the right price.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings, up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear.
That meeting could have been an email.
Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
Look at all the things my neck can do now.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. That's why we give you 120 nights to make sure it's right for you, or your money back. Plus, you get free and fast delivery. Shop in-store or online at mattressfirm.com. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Boot Barn is committed to supporting those who uphold the Western way of life. Denim plays a major role as a robust material that holds strong in a rugged environment. Since 1947, the Wrangler Authentic Western jeans have brought long-lasting denim to all who embrace the cowboy lifestyle. Boot Barn is proud to support this bold legacy, one that's just as iconic now as it was then. Wrangler at Boot Barn.
Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Always trust the big guy. Mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair at coolwillies.com. Cool Willie's is proud to be a partner of the University of Arizona Wildcats basketball radio broadcast. Two powerful teams working hard for you to get the job done right every day. Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. Big enough to help, small enough to care. Remember to mention your Wildcats and receive $50 off any repair. coolwillies.com.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold medicine.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. We were talking NBA in that last segment. Another big day it was on Sunday for the rookie Victor Wembanyama.
And as poor as Indiana played in the first quarter offensively, here's Wembanyama. He's back in. And he makes his presence felt. Wembanyama, top of the key. Drives and dunks.
That's where he's gotten stronger. He must have gotten, you see the sweep through there. Smith tries to recover length just too much.
Can you tell which broadcasting crew that was from?
I think that's probably the Indiana crew, right?
Drives and dunks. Drives and dunks.
So we mentioned 25, 10, 5, and 5. The actual numbers were 31, 12, 6, and 6 for Victor Wembanyama in that game. I think one of those blocks, at least one of those blocks I saw was on our guy, Ben Mathurin, who scored just 13 points in 31 minutes, but he went 9 of 13 from the line.
Ben also went right into Wemby's chest and drew a and one on him as well, so he got him back. I will tell you this. In the last 8 games, you ready for this? Yeah. Wembanyama in his last 8 games, 24.5, 12, and 5, with 5.5 blocks on 43% from the three-point line.
Wow.
And he's just trying to, he's figuring it out. He's 20 years old, just turned 20. First time through the NBA, right? That first year, especially for, you saw firsthand LeBron's struggle as a rookie, right? I mean, we all know LeBron as the 21-year veteran and how he makes it look so easy. But I remember LeBron as an 18, 19-year-old rookie, as athletic as he was, still having to figure a lot of stuff out. And, Wembanyama's on a minutes restriction. He's only playing about 27, 28 a game. He may be second in defensive player of the year voting behind his fellow Frenchman, who's Gobert, who's probably going to wrap up that award because the Timberwolves defense is so good. But yeah, DK, I mean, and listeners, if you're not basketball fans or whatever, it's understandable. You don't want to watch a terrible Spurs team play. But even if it's just something like going to YouTube and typing in Wembanyama's name and looking at some highlights, this guy, DK, he doesn't move he moves like a 6'5", 6'6" wing, and he's 7'4" with the 9-foot wingspan. It just, the ground he covers, especially defensively, he's probably the most special defensive player. I watched Akeem play a lot. He was probably the best shot blocker I ever saw because he came off of crazy angles. Akeem was one of the best shot blockers in NBA history, but during that era. But Wemby, DK, makes plays nobody has ever been able to make before. Like Manute Bol was the same kind of stature, but Manute Bol looked shaky on his legs every time he was out there, right? He didn't have great balance. Wembanyama has incredible balance for his size. I'm really looking forward to seeing what next year and beyond looks like because he's already killing it.
I think they said didn't he play soccer, I think, growing up? And that might be one of the reasons.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Not that I'm one to admire men's physiques, but I did see the dude with his shirt off preseason, DK, and I was shocked. He has a crazy core. Like, he clearly has spent a lot of time of his life, and you wouldn't be able to do that. Think about how long his limbs are and how much energy it takes to move those things around, and even just cutting or pivoting, and he's very good at the fundamentals of basketball. His core strength is incredible. He's going to put a little bit more weight on, probably not much more than, 15 pounds at most during his play. It will be about his playing weight. But as far as his core strength, I mean, that's what enables him to be able to do what he does now.
520-848-1290 is the number for you to get in on the program. We mentioned the Suns lost their game to the Oklahoma City Thunder, 118-110 on Sunday. It looked like they might pull this one out near the end.
To Gordon. Beal on the wing. Nurkic, one more, and one more. Gordon got it, and the Suns lead by 2.
So they've made 12 threes, a good portion of them in this run. Eric Gordon with that big three-point shot there would give the Suns the lead, but they would not be able to hold it as the Thunder would come from behind to win the ball game. Again, the Suns in that contest last night made 14 three-point shots. They were 14 of 39 from behind the arc. Bradley Beal led the way with 31 points in the contest.
They were fine. I watched the whole game.
Yeah.
They were fine. There's only one thing they did poorly, and that was taking care of the ball. Especially third quarter, there was a stretch of like 5 minutes where they had, I think, 6 or 7 turnovers. Oklahoma City is, by the analytics, the third or fourth best defensive team this year. They've got some very, very good perimeter defenders. Shai's very good. I think he leads the NBA in steals. Dort is very good. Chet, a good defender. Both the Williams are very good defenders. So it's no mystery as to why that team has such a great record this season. I believe they're second or third in the West. But the Suns just were a little careless, especially in that third corner. Turnover has been their big bugaboo this year. And if not for some of those turnovers, DK, I think they probably pull that game out.
The big news out of that game, though, was, as we mentioned, what Jusuf Nurkic did.
I'm not sure if Nurk sent a message to everybody in the Suns locker room about rebounding, but he's not letting anybody else get to the loose ball. And Beal on a nice drive and finish. O'Neal on a drive and kick. Sets up Allen for the three-point look. Rebound number 11, and caps it off with a quick putback. Giddey challenging Nurk. And Nurk, with little theatrics at the end, will get the block. Gordon on the drive, goes right at Holmgren, hits the deck. But the payoff inside for Big Nurk. Kevin Durant fighting for position on Williams. Raising up over Williams. Nurkic with the offensive rebound and the putback. Rebound number 29. Points 11 to 12. Beal inside, Nurkic again. Let's go with a nice even 30.
So Nurkic, 14 points, 31 rebounds. 13 of those rebounds came at the offensive end of the floor.
He did not, however, shoot a single free throw
Yeah.
in this game last night. And afterwards, he was asked about getting 30 rebounds. He was not happy at all about getting 13 offensive rebounds and no calls that sent him to the free throw line.
They told me like when I had 28, I think I saw on the screen. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's great, but we lost the game, and another turnover issue. What we got 22. So I think we all agree in the locker room that this shit got to change.
Is there anything in regards, Coach was saying he feel like you're the best defensive rebounder in the league? What mentality do you have to go get those?
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to do my role the best I can. But it's kind of really messed up when you have a 13 offensive rebound and 16 shots and 0 free throws. As hard as I work and I feel like getting fouled, as anybody in the league. And I'm not here saying we lost the game. It is what it is, but it's not really common sense, At least one, not even that one. But I know, it's happened. So I'm not the first one. I ain't gonna be last game either, unfortunately. But they're a good team and they make you work. I thought when we got back and we got a lead, I wish I stayed that few minutes, but just gotta trust the coach. And I do trust him, but at the end of the day, it's just felt bad because we could win that game.
It's not super surprising to me to see Nurkic get 13 offensive boards and no free throws. It's unbelievably shocking for me to see Kevin Durant get 6 free throw attempts. And I don't know if you watched any highlights, DK, but he got doubled every time and Dort was on him most of the ball. If you ever seen that guy play defense, he is about as physical a defender as can be. I think Kevin Durant probably deserved more like 15-plus free throw attempts in that game. And again, I'm not a conspiracy refs are out to defeat the Suns type of person. And, I think the offensive players have far too much freedom, in this NBA game. And the consistency on what's a touch foul and what's not is just, they got to reevaluate that at some point in the near future. Because fans, the biggest noise I hear on the internet these days, DK, is just about that. Not the refs screwed my team. The refs are in it to make my team lose. But the refs are having a difficult time maintaining consistency from one game to the next, one call to the next.
Well, and first I want to go back to Jusuf Nurkic. The question there was about him, about Frank Vogel saying that he's the best defensive rebounder in the NBA. He turned it around to the fact that he got 13 offensive rebounds,
right,
16 shots, and didn't shoot any free throws in that ball game. You mentioned the turnovers. They turned it over 21 times in the game. You also mentioned the doubling down on Kevin Durant. And in terms of how those two things relate, Frank Vogel went all in on that after the game.
I'll start by saying that they fouled the shit out of Kevin Durant all night. Whether he has the ball, and he's getting stripped 3 or 4, maybe 5 times, and every time he tries to get open, he's being held. Which is something I really want the league to look at. But that's where it starts with it.
So, yeah, he's not happy with the hacking of his superstar that at least that's been occurring frequently and was exasperated in that game last night.
And nothing's new, right? Kevin Durant came into the league. He couldn't, put up 10 reps on the bench, right? And that was the minimum requirement in the draft combine for the NBA. He couldn't. And everybody laughed at Kevin Durant's too weak to put bench presses up. And then from day one, DK stepped in the league and was just one of the most ferocious scorers this league's ever seen. So how do you deal with that? How do you deal with a 7-foot guy who can knock shots down from anywhere on the court? You be physical with him. I mean, and refs have had to deal with how to officiate Kevin Durant and players being physical with him for 15 years now? He's been in the league. This isn't his first year in the league. So I don't know. I think KD has made a really good concerted effort to be as aggressive as possible when driving the ball. He's very good at not creating contact, but establishing contact because he's undefendable once he gets up into a shooting motion. I didn't have a chance to watch the highlights of every ISO that KD got yesterday, but his free throw percentage always, should be, especially against a very physical handsy. Talking about handsy, that Oklahoma City Thunder team, DK, is about as handsy as it gets. I just think 6 free throw attempts for Kevin Durant is on the extreme low end for the game I watched last night.
Yeah, 18 for the team. They went 16 of 18. Beal took 10. Durant took 6 of those. The other 2 went to Mr. Eubanks, Drew Eubanks, who came off the bench and
bear in mind
6 points in 11 minutes.
Mr. Booker did not play in this
Right,
game. He had a bit of an ankle twist in the game before, so he sat out this game.
Yeah, so Devin did not play, and the Suns lose 118 to 110. They are also, we mentioned the Eastern Conference. They are right now sitting in the play-in part of the bracket as the number 7 team. They're actually kind of even, but just percentage points behind the Sacramento Kings for that 6th spot in the Western Conference. Right now it goes Oklahoma City, Minnesota, Denver, LA, New Orleans, Sacramento in the top 6. Phoenix, Dallas, Golden State, and the Lakers are 7 through 10. Somebody asked me last night, how much did the Cavs lose by? And I said, well, not as much as the Warriors lost by.
Yeah. Did you hear Steph today?
Huh?
They lost, I think, by 52, and Steph today's like, we're used to doing that to other teams.
I mean, wow. Yeah, I don't remember a Steph Curry Warriors team losing by that many points ever, anywhere.
Just to put a quick button on, or a finale on this Thunder talk, you may not know this, but the Thunder racked up 13 first-round picks from all the trades they've made recently, including, they had Harden, they had Paul George and all those guys.
Right.
What if I told you that they potentially could have 2 lottery picks this year? They are currently in first place in the West, and they have Utah's protected pick, and I can't remember the second team, but they have 2 protected picks. One's a top 3 protected, the other one's a top 10 protected. But either of those 2 teams finish right, and the ping pong balls go their way. The Oklahoma City Thunder, who are currently in first place,
could have 2
lottery picks this year and have 15 more first-round picks in the next 5 years. It's unbelievable how many picks those guys have.
Wow.
And a young core, really, really good young
their
core.
GM?
So, yeah, watch out for the Thunder.
And
is it Presti? I don't know who the Thunder's GM is. It's a good question.
Who was it? And we'll have to go back and maybe play this later. But did you hear? Did Tommy compare Caleb Love to Anthony Edwards after the game?
He did. He's like that guy from Minnesota, is what he said, yeah.
I would assume that's who he was talking about.
He was, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
Sam Presti is the GM of the Thunder.
What did you think? Well, we'll get into that in the next hour.
I think Caleb is like 5 inches shorter is the problem.
I was like
I think
it didn't make sense to me because I was like, they're not even.
No, they are the same, but they play the same position. They're both shooting guards. Caleb's more of a combo guy, but Anthony Edwards is more in the mold of Jordan or Kobe. He's like a legit 6'7". So it's just at the NBA level, it's a little different when you attack the rim and you have a 45-inch vertical and you're 6'7" with big hands. So Anthony Edwards, Anthony Edwards to me might be the face of the league moving forward after LeBron and those guys retire. Shai's great, Luka's great, Wemby's great. All these guys are great, but man, Anthony Edwards is the real deal. That guy's legit.
All right, 520-848-1290, 1 hour in the books. We've got much more in store for you. We'll take you back to McHale Center on Saturday, let you hear what the seniors had to say to the crowd after their final game, not only their final home game of this season, but their final home game of the Pac-12 era. That's kind of when it was one of my top takeaways. I walked out of the building. I said, next time we come in here, it's going to be Big 12 basketball.
Yeah, I didn't want to talk about it pregame because I didn't want to get caught up in the idea that it would be the last ever Pac-12 basketball game ever played there. And when I left the building, I did feel it, DK. I did feel like this is the last time I'm leaving a Pac-12 game. End of an era.
Yeah, for sure. All right, it's JW Madden, Cricket. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. New collision reported Tanque Verde in Sabino Canyon and Tanque Verde also clearing. Cortero at I-10, Irvington and Campbell. McGee and La Cañada also collision on Broadway west of Cole Road, Broadway and Jessica, and some eastbound slowing. 46 low and clear skies overnight, 74 partly cloudy. Tomorrow, 50% chance of rain Thursday and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Juicy Juice. Juicy Juice is 100% juice, which means Juicy Juice is only sweetened by the fruit with no sugar added, no high fructose corn syrup, and no artificial sweeteners. Try all of the delicious flavors. Find Juicy Juice at your favorite local grocery retailer. Info at juicyjuice.com.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
The Wildcats play here. This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Databank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
Good news, everybody.
We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Are you ready to adopt? Come to the Humane Society of Southern Arizona. When you adopt from us, you will save more than one life. You'll also make room for the next pet in need. The Humane Society of Southern Arizona has been compassionately serving pets and the people who love them since 1944. Our knowledgeable adoption matchmakers will help you find the right pet for your home and support you after you adopt. We are open 7 days a week at our main campus at 635 West Roger Road. Learn more and see adoptable pets at hssaz.org.
At Nova Home Loans, we believe everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy the independence that comes with home ownership. Whether you're a first-time home buyer who needs down payment assistance, have less than perfect credit, or looking to refinance, Nova has a variety of home loan programs for your unique situation. Visit novahomeloans.com or call 800-955-9125 to learn more. Not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Rates and available loan programs are subject to change without notice. NMLS 3087, BK 0902429, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what?
Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
Heading to Las Vegas. It is basketball time in the West. Looking forward to it. We'll start our coverage from LVNV on Tuesday. Pac-12 women's basketball tournament. Ladies fell on Saturday night in their senior night game to the UCLA Bruins, 61-41. We were out on the patio after the men's game, had a chance to talk to Salvo Copa, Adia's husband, the assistant coach for the Arizona women's basketball team, had a chance to talk to Isaac Bay, the father of Isis Bay. How about him? How about him going all in on this program and everything? You know, we've been hearing a lot of negative talks all season long about the culture in this program, but he went all in about how great this program is.
Yeah, you try to say goodbye, and then he talked for, I think, 3 minutes after that about how Arizona's don't go to UConn, come here. Like, I remember he was very animated about how, and, you know, for all the right reasons, about the community, the support, about the coaching staff, and how the locker room has so much love and the culture and all those things. But, yeah, he was definitely a dad who was trying to send everybody else's kids down to play for Adia as well.
Head on over to our YouTube channel and listen to the postgame show from Saturday to hear Isaac Bay's comments about the program. I mean, like J-Dub just said, he's telling people that this is a better culture here than UConn, and that's saying a lot. So, and again, that's coming from a parent. So you never know how you know, every parent sees it differently, but that at least is one parent who's all in.
I'll go find that section and see if I can't bring it up. We could play it later.
Yeah, absolutely. So the ladies will be the number 7 seed. It wasn't going to matter. That was all. They were the last game on Saturday. All the other games were during the early afternoon on Saturday in the Pac-12 for the women's side. So their spot in the tournament was already set before they even tipped off on Saturday. They are the 7th seed. They will play the Washington Huskies on Wednesday. That game will begin at 7 p.m. in Las Vegas. You'll hear it right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. Our coverage will begin at 6:45 p.m. with Derek Palmer. They played the Washington Huskies twice. They lost a close game in Seattle. They won a triple overtime game here in Tucson. So, I mean, that's pretty much probably going to be a pick'em on Wednesday night. The winner gets the number 2 seed, and that is Southern California. So less than a week after the Wildcats lost, or actually it will be a week because they played that game on Thursday, a week after losing to USC here at home in a game that they had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, a 5-point lead in the final minute, and couldn't hold it after Juju Watkins had fouled out. The ladies might get another shot at the women of Troy if they can beat the Washington Huskies first on Wednesday in Las Vegas. That game against USC would be on Thursday. The semifinals would be Friday night. The championship game would be on Sunday. They go Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday at the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament. And we will have complete coverage of that event for you beginning tomorrow at 3 o'clock from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, J-Dub. I don't know if I've ever stayed. I don't know if I've ever gone anywhere and worked for 2 weeks. But that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go to Las Vegas. We're going to stay there. I thought about coming back for the weekend. I may still do that, but I'm leaning towards not doing that. The flight's coming back. I was going to maybe take a fly back Friday and be here because I'd like to go to the golf tournament. It's a huge weekend here in Tucson. The Cologuard Classic is this week. That whole week-long festival has started today. They had a special golf tournament for the Special Olympics was happening today, and the guys will be out there for practice rounds starting tomorrow, leading up to the first round, which will be on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I thought maybe I'll fly back and take in some of the Cologuard up in my neighborhood and at the La Paloma right down the street. Heck, I could walk there from where I live. So, but I don't know. I haven't made that full decision yet whether we'll come back. We may just go ahead and stay the 2 weeks for both the women's and the men's basketball tournament. What in the world am I going to do outside of basketball? Because I'm not a huge gambler. I mean, we've talked about that before. I'll play some roulette here and there. I might sneak up to the blackjack table. Oh, I found out about another game this weekend that kind of sounds interesting that I might have to try. Have you ever played, I believe it's called Mississippi Stud? J-Dub, have you heard Mississippi Stud?
I mean, I've heard a lot of poker games that start with the word Mississippi, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a poker game. So we have some friends that are visiting from Cleveland this week, and he was telling me about it. My friend Milo, he was telling me about it. He says, so essentially what it is you get 2 cards, the dealer gets 3 cards, and then you play essentially off those 5 cards. So the goal is to get a pair with your 2 cards. So whatever you ante, whatever $5, $10, whatever the ante for the hand is, and then you get your 2 cards. So say I get, a 2 and a 6, I probably just want to, fold on that. But if I say I get like an ace and a jack, then maybe I play that, hoping that one of the 3 cards he has is an ace or a jack, and now I've got a pair that I can try to win off of. So that's kind of how it works. And then you can so then he turns over his cards apparently one at a time, and you can bet on he turns over his first card, and then after you see what his first card is, you can make your bet higher. Right. If you want, you can double your bet or triple your bet or whatever. Then he turns over his second card, and you can bet more if you want in anticipation of what his third card is going to be. So what I've been told is if you get a pair, like a high pair, and really they want anything like 10 or above. If you get 10s, 10 jack, queen, king, ace pair, you want to triple on every card he turns over, because the likelihood of you maybe getting a 3 of a kind or something like that, you win more money.
I like poker because one of my superpowers is, my only superpowers is reading people. So I'm pretty good at, nonverbal communication. I'm really good at. So playing poker, my friends don't like to play poker with me, and I've never used it for evil. Let's put it that way. I don't like to, I've never been one to manipulate because of that. But I think poker, the idea of poker being able to read what your friends' emotions are, and especially when you play with people that going to a table in Vegas and sitting down with a bunch of strangers is different. But playing with your friends, it's the most fun. Is that eye contact that you make with somebody who it throws a bunch of money into the pot. And you're like, I don't know, buddy. I think your eyes twitching a little bit too much or whatever.
I used to, before I came here, I used to work with some folks, and they would have a poker game maybe once every, couple of months or something. I never got to go, though, because it was always on a Friday night, and, I always had a game
so busy.
or something that I was in. I was like, I'm gonna try to get to one of these. I don't really play, but I just kind of like maybe wanted to go and I've never had a circle of friends that really played poker. And so, you have your guys, your buddies, and you have poker parties and all that. But I've never really had a circle of friends like that where there was a cool poker party. So I just kind of wanted to go just to see what a poker party was like and if guys were actually sitting there smoking cigars.
I think the longest I ever spent in Vegas consecutively was like 3 years. So the whole two-week thing doesn't
I'm
really...
going 2 weeks and
doesn't move the needle for me.
3 years.
Well, I lived there when I was in 6th grade. It was the first time I ever lived in Vegas. I lived there for 6th grade. And then I moved back there when I was like 28 or 29. I was there for a year. And then I moved back again in my mid-30s, and I was there for 2 or 3 years. More so Henderson, I would say, than Vegas. But, I definitely am. I've had family who's been up there since the early mid-70s. It's really, like I said, self-control. If you're one to go out and, have weekend-long benders or whatever, then it's probably not the best place to stay unsupervised. But I think you'll be just fine. I'm not worried about it.
So what did you, you lived there. What was that like? Did you enjoy it? From when you were a kid growing up there versus when you lived there as an adult?
When you live there, you find out that locals don't go to the Strip.
Right.
They go to the station casinos. And the station casinos are spread throughout the entire valley.
Now, Station, that's a brand?
They're called Station, yeah. Okay. And there's again, I don't know, maybe they've been rebranded as something else, but there's a series of casinos for the locals, which are spread out throughout the entire area. But again, you have the ability to gamble in any convenience store, the airport, it's across the board. At any building you go into, you'll hear the sounds of slot machines. I've said this many times, I like the atmosphere down on the Strip. I like the pageantry and all that stuff. The casinos themselves, the trap nature, the nature of them trapping you in there and the carpets leading you in any direction except for to the exit, and having it be you never know what time it is in those places. It could be, it could be 1 a.m. in the morning or 1 p.m. You would never know.
There's no windows. You can't see the sun.
Yeah.
I like the same time. It's the same time of day all day.
I will tell you this. When I lived there, most of the time I spent in casinos was going to see movies or things like that, as opposed to going down for a 5-hour bender to sit at tables. That wasn't something that me and my relatives ever did. But I think, again, if you grow up within the shadow of McHale like I did, then going to games always means something, but it's not that life-changing experience of somebody who's been a fan for 40 years and never been to a game. I think if you don't have the opportunity... Now, gambling is legal in how many states?
Yeah.
So it's not quite like what it once was. But there will always only ever be one Strip. That area has been so built up, even since I last lived there, which was 15 years ago or something like that. It's just it's a different place just visually with all the different styles and shapes of the architecture and everything else down there.
Yeah, it's a very architecturally
what I'm saying
city
is,
to look at.
Even if you're not a gambler per se, with shows and everything else and just all the sights that you can see, you could spend a couple weeks in Vegas and not put a single penny down at any table and still have a great time.
Yeah, and the food. All right, so I'm going to Las Vegas. We'll get into this a little bit more. I want you to tell me things that I should be doing when I have downtime in Las Vegas. 520-848-1290. In fact, that's going to be our question of the day. I hadn't put it up yet, but I will. What should DK do during his downtime in Las Vegas? Should I see shows? Should I go see if my DJ? I love my house music, so I might see if I can, I wander in and see if any of my favorite DJs are playing over the course of the next 2 weeks. What restaurants do I need to be going to? What was the one Emerald? Should I go? Is there a favorite Emerald restaurant that you like? What's the other guy? His name?
There's a lot. Emerald, Bobby Flay.
Bobby Flay. The main guy.
The guy from England.
Spago or whatever. Any of those restaurants. What restaurant should I go to? That you want to send me to a restaurant? I'll go and I'll have dinner and I'll come back and I'll say this is where I ate last night. Now I only have so much of Ken Kowalczyk's money to spend, so I can't be going and eating all over the place. But we might try one or two of those places.
Well, I mean, the first table, you put money on black, and then who knows what could happen
Exactly.
after that.
According to Shannon Black, first table you see, $50 on black. I'm going to try that. I might try that. That's a lot for me on the first bet. But I might just see if Shannon's thing works there. All right. Can you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather? Here is Cricket.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic. With a collision that was reported on eastbound I-10 near Irvington, Palo Verde, and there are slowdowns for both directions of traffic on I-10 east of the Ajo-Kino connection. Other collisions at Tanque Verde and Sabino Canyon, Irvington and Campbell, and also Cortero at I-10 is clearing. And for our weather, mostly clear skies, 46, the low, 74, partly cloudy tomorrow. Thursday, a 50% chance of rain and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ChumbaCasino.com. Welcome to the ultimate playground for online social casino enthusiasts. Get ready to live the Chumba life and play over 100 online casino-style games for free at ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Wildcats Radio is the one and only home of Jim Rome and CBS Sports Radio.
I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's nice. It's good.
Tucson knows the home of the jungle is also your home of the NFL. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Cantina nachos, strawberry watermelon margaritas, a few zombie kills, and all your favorite sports teams live? When your day calls for some winning, it's time for Dave & Buster's, where you can eat, drink, play, and watch all the sports you want. They've got massive HD TVs, hundreds of the hottest new games, a chef-crafted menu, and an incredible list of beers, wines, and cocktails. So remember, if your day calls for a little victory, a little triumph, a little win, it's probably calling for Dave & Buster's.
Cochise Country Fest is coming March 15th through 17th at Forever Ranch in Benson, featuring Shenandoah, Blackhawk, Eddie Montgomery, Casey Donahue, Neil McCoy, Colin Ray, George Burge, plus Taylor Austin, Last Train to Juarez, Matt Farron, Treaty Oak Revival, Rick Trevino, J.D. Graham, Tyler Gumbersall, Jesse Taylor, and the Coltrane's. The high desert's heating up with Cochise Country Fest, March 15th through 17th. Get your tickets now at Cochise.CountryFest.com.
And this Friday, we've got a Cochise Country Music Festival sweet deal. You can get a preferred seating 3-day festival pass for just $144.50, originally $289. And this sweet deal will go on sale this Friday morning at 8:30 at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you over 30 and putting off life insurance? It's time to get a quick quote from Ethos, a better, easier way to get term life insurance, all online with no medical exam. Answer a few health questions and you could be approved for up to $2 million. Isn't it worth 10 minutes to help protect your family's financial security? Ethos, up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, we got a text in right now from Pete who says, I asked right before we went to the break, what should I be doing on my downtime in Las Vegas? Because in case you're just now joining the show, we're taking DK on the Sports Tip on the road to Las Vegas for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. We're going to be there for the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament starting tomorrow. So we'll have a show tomorrow. We'll have a show Wednesday because the ladies will play at 7 o'clock. So we actually are going to extend our show on Wednesday. Normally we go from 3 to 6, but we'll go from 3 to 6:45 on Wednesday. We'll extend our show 45 minutes, leading you in to Arizona Wildcats women's basketball coverage beginning on Wednesday at 6:45 with Derek Palmer from Las Vegas. Now, obviously, Thursday, we have men's basketball here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So we'll have normal pregame show. We'll bring that to you from the Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. We'll have everything that's going on with the women's basketball team. If they win on Wednesday and they're playing Thursday night, it's the same time. If they beat Washington on Wednesday, the Wildcats are the 7th seed. They'll play number 10 seed Washington. If they beat Washington, they'll play number 2 seed USC on Thursday. That also will be a 7 o'clock game. That game, however, because of the men's game, will not be on this station. That game will be on KTUC, Freedom 1400. Again, same coverage time, 6:45 will be the start time on the broadcast with Derek Palmer there. Now, if for some reason this red hot, this playing well, I wouldn't say red hot because they lost 2 in a row, but this playing well, Arizona women's basketball team wins their way into the semifinals on Friday. That game will be back here on Wildcats Radio 1290. So the finals, the semifinals on Friday, and if they're in the championship game on Sunday, you'll hear both of those games right here on Wildcats Radio 1290. And if they're in the championship game on Sunday, we might have some additional post-game coverage for you after that contest from Las Vegas as well. So we're going to be extending some shows. Normally we're 3 to 6. We might extend some shows. We're going to, we're going to massage our schedule to kind of fit around the best and most complete coverage of Arizona women's basketball that we can give you this week from Las Vegas. I am excited. This is the second year I've had a chance to go and cover the women. I went last year. It was kind of a short trip. I don't know if you remember last year, J-Dub. Last year, the day I left was the day that it snowed.
Right.
That unbelievable snowstorm, which I didn't even know. I mean, because I hit it, I want to say I hit it probably about an hour north of Wickiup as you were kind of getting close to Interstate 40 up there to get on that to go to Kingman.
Right.
That was about when I started hitting it. And, man, by the time I got to Kingman, it was a blizzard. It was an absolute blizzard. And so you get off Kingman, and I don't know all the routes and the route numbers and all that, but you get off there at Kingman and you take that route that goes up to Hoover Dam.
86.
Yeah, it might be 86 or something like that. Well, that was a parking lot. It was a parking lot. So because usually I stop there because there's gas stations and everything. So usually I'll stop there. That'll be kind of like where my pit stop is right there in Kingman.
Right.
So I stopped, and I figured, okay, I'll stop. Usually takes me about 15 minutes. I'll put gas in the car. Maybe I'll get something to eat inside. I'll go to the bathroom, whatever. I figured by the time I come out, it'll loosen up. It was a parking lot. So I get in line. I get back in line, and I'm like, I sat there and didn't move for like 20 minutes. So at this point, I'm like, and I wasn't really in a rush or anything like that because I went up the day before. I didn't really need to be there for anything in particular. That the day I traveled that year. So I'm thinking to myself, I don't know how long this is going to be. I don't want to sit in this. So I was able to, at the next, there was another set of stores. I was able to go in that driveway, turn around, go back down and get on the freeway. And I went back up about another 2 exits, and I found a roundabout way to hit 86 up further.
93.
Yeah.
I was mistaken. It's 93.
Yeah. So I found a roundabout way to hit 93 up further along. And so, it took me, I probably detoured about an hour. But it was crazy because, then by the time you hit Hoover Dam and you start to come down into the Las Vegas Valley, all the snow's gone.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's just that northern Arizona plateau. I mean, it's like the elevation up there. Vegas, as I've just said, I've lived in Vegas off and on. I remember sleet and some flakes that fell from the sky that didn't stick on the ground.
Yeah.
I've experienced that kind of snow in Vegas, but never snow sticking on the ground as much.
So Pete suggests that I go to the Mob Museum.
The Mob Museum, yeah.
Yes, we went to the Mob Museum. I don't think it was the last time obviously I was in Vegas was for the Pac-12 football. We didn't go then, but we had gone, I think, the summer before. And we went to the Mob Museum.
Did you learn a lot
for the first time? I don't know. Are you into the mob? Are you
I grew up in Tucson, and Tucson's pretty mob adjacent and always has been. So I know.
Wait, mob adjacent. What does that mean?
Did you ever see the movie Casino?
I don't know if I ever saw.
A big part of the movie Casino is that when they were establishing foothold, the mob in Las Vegas, they didn't want any of the bosses to be involved firsthand because that's plausible deniability. So they would be in towns near, but not there. And the way I understand it is that Tucson in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s had zero street crime because there were quite a lot of very powerful higher-ups who lived here.
Wow.
And so they made sure that they didn't get a lot of smoke coming. So, I'm not here to point fingers at any particular named or family or anything like that, but I know the history here. I've never had a morbid fascination.
Wait, let me stop you real quick.
Go ahead.
So is there a mob family name here in Tucson?
Again, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get in that kind of trouble, but I do know it's all in the history books. There have been a lot of families. I think it was Bonanno, who's the guy in the car and the bomb and all that stuff. One night I was working. I think that's his name.
La Paloma.
One night I was working at Froggenfurken, and I was meeting with a gentleman a student at the time. I think he was in grad school, and his dad was a very famous local realtor. And apparently they had a meeting that night. He was going to meet that guy that night after the dinner at Frog, and then word came out that he had been killed. Things like that, aren't very frequent here in Tucson, but everybody knows Club Congress's history, and there have been situations over the years. I do know this: the house I grew up in, DK, was called the Olive, El Olivo. It was a giant olive tree with all kinds of Italian fruit trees, There was a kumquat tree and orange and grapefruit and all these other trees in the back. And I just always imagined that, some grandma of some mobster was put up in that house initially back in the 30s or 40s or whatever, because the way it was landscaped was certainly that of an Italian villa. I don't know the full history. I just know that Vegas is widely known for how many holes there are out in the deserts or whatever. And that's what you're going to learn about if you go to the Mob Museum.
Well, it's interesting. I watched a very interesting kind of docu. I don't know if it's a docu-series, but it was a CNN original series called Vegas, The Story of Sin City. It was on over the weekend. And it was actually Saturday night. I got home after the women's game, and it was on, and I watched it because obviously I'm going to Vegas, and I thought, let's hear a little bit about the history. But it's funny you said that there was no crime on the streets here. I don't know if that was what the term you used.
Yeah.
But they said the same thing about when the mob set up Las Vegas. The people were they felt protected. You could leave your doors open.
Right.
There was nothing shady going on because the mob made sure
Yeah.
that the residents and the people of the town were protected.
Yeah, and I mean, if it's an unknown knowledge, not that it's being projected across the news stations or anything, but people who are on the street, they know what's really the situation is, then the first person who does steal a purse from a grandma walking down the street and then some big guys catch him in an alley and say, we don't do that around here. I mean, that word gets around really fast. So that's the way I understand a lot of cities that are, at least used to be. I don't think it's been that way for 40 or 50 years. But it used to be back in the day that, street crime would go away as soon as there was a big presence because whatever more nefarious things like cooking books and, racketeering and things like that, or even, in the Prohibition, just selling booze and all that kind of stuff, they didn't want heat coming down on that. So any kind of petty crime, it was known not to do that kind of stuff around.
520-848-1290. If you know the mob history of Tucson, I'd like to hear from you today on that. I'm always good for a little history lesson. But yeah, it was a very interesting story. Vegas, the story of Sin City. If you get a chance to watch it on CNN, very good piece. Kind of went into how the whole thing was set up, how the mob came in, basically set up all the hotels, kept the streets clean. It delved into the racial side of it, how, blacks could perform, but they couldn't sit at the front of the house. They couldn't go in the front doors, how Sammy Davis became extremely popular there, and how, the role that Sammy Davis was being
white, though, right? I mean, that's what I always heard in those circles. That's the way I always heard it referred to in circles, that, Sammy Davis Jr., clearly one of the most impressive entertainers of all time.
Yeah.
But because of the era, late 50s into the 60s or whatever,
they talked about Liberace and his rise in Vegas, and how when Elvis first came to town, he was a flop because it was an older crowd that just wasn't into that rock and roll music, and somebody suggested that Elvis meet with Liberace to kind of get a feel, and somebody said, hey, would you go talk to Elvis? He's having problems with this. And it was essentially what happened was Liberace talked to Elvis, and he basically told him, you need a little bit more glitz in your act. You need some glitz in your act. And that's why Elvis started wearing the glitzy jackets, was because that's what Liberace told him to do.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to try to make it work in Vegas.
I don't know if Liberace is a great person as your fashion guru, but I mean, if you look at Elvis's
Vegas is flamboyant.
In Elvis's later years with all the sequin jumpsuits and stuff, it's certainly very Liberace-esque. Tom has some thoughts.
All right, let's talk to Tom. Tom, you're on DK on the Sports Tip, Wildcats Radio 1290.
From one Buckeye to another, what's up?
Hey, what is going on, Tom? Buckeye. I'm Buckeye. Okay. What's the saying? I'm Buckeye proud. I'm Buckeye red, and when I die, I'm going to be Buckeye dead.
Something like that. Yeah. So probably you ought to go visit the Shelby America Museum.
Shelby America
like
Museum.
Cars.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and it's a museum about the Shelby Cobras and all that they've done. Carroll Shelby has done. I think they got that there, and I also think there's another museum, an automotive museum, and I can't remember who the heck it is. But he's IndyCar and NASCAR. It'll come to me after I hang up, of course. But they have a big museum there also.
Okay.
So there's, and I'm a car guy, so that's what I'm looking at.
Right.
Used to go to Vegas and Reno quite a bit where I worked for meetings. If you want to win some money, you don't do the nickel, dime, quarters, and all that stuff. You do the $10 slot.
$10 slots. Okay.
Yes, sir. As you're, I had a buddy of mine he's been there quite a bit, and that's what he always did. And we were walking into a meeting, There was a slot machine outside the ballroom. He hit it, and I think he won like $900.
Wow.
But, he always bet $10 slots.
I'll keep that
So there
in
you
mind.
go.
$10 slots and the
And-
IndyCar, NASCAR, and Shelby America museums.
Yes, look it up. And if I think of the name of the other ones before you guys are off, I'll tell J-Dub. And also, as far as mobsters here in Tucson,
Yes.
went to Catalina, got out of there in '73.
Okay.
They Bats Battaglia. Does that sound familiar?
Fats Battaglia. Okay.
No, Bats. B-A-T. Batista.
Oh, Bats.
It's
Bats.
B. Starts.
Okay.
Yes. His daughter, Ginger Battaglia, went to Catalina. I knew her.
What was her name?
Ginger Battaglia.
Oh, Ginger. Okay.
Probably get in trouble. I think the mob will probably come after me now, man.
That's why I said I'm not trying to name names over here.
I can drop some names, buddy. I can drop some names.
Ooh, I like names.
There was another one that I actually went out with that was a cousin of her. Not going to give up her name. But, I'm old, but they're probably still around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think a lot of the western cities like Phoenix, Tucson, and Vegas all had some kind of Chicago, New York level of moving over when the AC was invented. And it wasn't necessarily like bosses as much as mothers of bosses or that kind of thing, right? I mean, and Arizona especially was known for, healthcare and any kind of respiratory thing. So a lot of people from the East Coast had respiratory issues came out. So it wasn't nefarious as much as just a landing spot. And I think that was the way I heard it anyway. It wasn't like a lot of, bad, racketeering and was going on here as much as there were people who lived here.
Yeah, that's the reason we came out here for my sister's asthma.
Yeah, a lot of people did.
And lo and behold, we got stuff that blooms here too. So,
right.
And a lot of does.
We do now.
So then there's another one. I work for Air Filter Service Company. It's the building that Christie's Appliances is in at Fort Lowell and Country Club. We service, air conditioning units, made filters and stuff like that. We service Joe Bonanno's house in right there in that big neighborhood by the Arizona Inn.
Yeah.
The neighborhood that's north of that.
Right.
Bonanno lived in there.
Okay.
And Joe Bonanno, he's a big one.
That was the guy who got blown up in La Paloma, right? Yeah. Lupita Maria.
No, it wasn't.
Huh?
No, it wasn't. Joe Bonanno? No,
that
wasn't
wasn't
him.
the guy? Oh, that wasn't him.
No. But there would be times, and, we were there every 2 weeks, every month, change out his filters in his house. And, yes, there were places, there was always somebody watching us. And sometimes we would go, and they'd say, not now. So we'd have to reschedule. So, yes, there was still some business going on. But, that's the mid to late 70s.
Right.
So, yes, Catalina High School had a lot of, back then we had all the Catalina foothills.
Yeah.
So there were some big names and stuff. But Battaglia and Bonanno are the two that I can.
Gary Triano was the guy that got blown up in La Paloma.
Triano.
Yeah, Gary Triano.
Yeah.
When I was working at Frog in the 90s, we had a impersonator who would come and sing, and I met some people through social circles with him one time at a party, and the small guy had three dudes standing next to him, DK, who all looked like NFL linebackers. And I didn't think much of it, but I remember specifically, like a week later, I saw the two guys, and they were drinking tea on our patio, and they made sure to make eye contact with me. Like it was kind of they were checking out to make sure my story was that I actually did work there. There was a guy got checked up on by some people, and again, I didn't ask questions. I don't remember names. I don't care what names were, but there's definitely, and again, I think every major city in America will probably have some kind of people either in that life or pretending to be in that life, one of the others. But Yeah, I think Tucson's always been as chill as can be, but there's been an element of that over time.
Right. In Tucson back then, I mean, it was fairly small. And I've seen it grow. We came out here in '57, and in the late to mid '70s, there was still stuff going on, but it was wasn't a big deal. Nobody bothered anybody, and yada yada yada. The one guy, I can't remember his name, that got busted in New York, the mob boss. Can't remember his name, but he was part of the Bonanno family. They were big back east. So yeah, kind of neat. So
interesting.
But all right,
Tom. Hey, we appreciate the call and all that great information.
I'm on a bad road, so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Thanks, Tom. Very down.
Thanks, Tom. All right, we are way past the break, so let's get to it. Cricket's got traffic and weather. We can continue our conversation. We appreciate Pete for checking in and recommending the Mob Museum. I'll talk a little bit more about that because we did go there. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket, get us home.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions, Duval Mine Road at I-19, also Tanque Verde and Sabino Canyon and Tanque Verde. Eastbound I-10, milepost 302 at State Route 90, eastbound I-10 near Benson. Expect ramp closures from 9 till midnight tonight. And for your weather, 46 and clear overnight, 74 partly cloudy tomorrow, 50% chance of rain on Thursday, and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of Top Shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
Here's an important message from University Termite and Pest Control. The weather is cooler here, and so pests are seeking alternative housing. Do you need a professional? University Termite and Pest Control has been serving Tucson since 1974. You can be assured University Termite and Pest Control will keep you pest-free using the most responsible products and application methods. 28 school districts, 3 hospitals, 2 colleges, 1 university, and thousands of homeowners trust University Termite and Pest Control for the past 50 years. You can too. University Termite and Pest Control. Find us online at bepestfree.com.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. That's right, stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing servicing your vehicle.
Don't miss out on any pre-game insight.
That's a little bit of what I want to see out of Boswell. Get Keyshawn to set him a back screen or something. Get him on a couple easy layups to kind of get him going a little bit.
Off the glass and good. A pretty shot for Kylan Boswell.
We go on 4 hours before every men's basketball game.
I always tell guys, let the coach take you in and out the game. Don't take yourself out. Stay aggressive. Don't hunt your shots, but if the shots are open, you take them.
DK, Kelvin, and J Dubs on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Tired of dry, itchy skin? Have mineral buildup at every faucet. Ram Plumbing's affordable, green, eco-friendly water softener and alkalized purification systems are built right here in our great state of Arizona and use a fraction of the wastewater as their competitors. Want soft water, non-chlorinated, or the best alkalized drinking water? You can trust Ram Plumbing to be your one-stop shop. Ask about their Water Taste Challenge. 40th year anniversary savings up to $500 off water systems and $40 off any service. If your plumbing's in trouble, call Ram on the double.
It takes 3 seconds to view a text and for a child to step into the road. Please don't text and drive. It can save a life. This message is courtesy of Andy's American Glass, veteran owned and operated, serving the Tucson area for over 3 years. Let 40 years of experience go to work for you. They're always working hard to keep our community safe. Call 520-979-3258. That's 520-979-3258. That's Andy's American Glass. Wishing all the best.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. Wildcats 1290 question of the day. What should I do in Las Vegas during my downtime? I'm going to be there for 2 weeks covering the Pac-12 women's and men's basketball tournaments. So I'm about to put this up on our Twitter account. Go over to our Twitter account at Wildcats 1290, and you can tell me what I should be doing, what restaurant I should be eating at, what show I should be seeing, what golf course I should be playing. I am going to take my clubs. I did make that decision yesterday that I'm going to take my clubs. What nightclubs I should hit. If there's a DJ, what DJ I should see.
Did you use the word legal in that poll? Because I think it should be what legal things should DK be doing during his downtime.
In there. All the things I list are legal. It's not like anything. I didn't list anything illegal in the list I'm putting on here.
I'm just anticipating some answers from listeners that fall outside of that scope. I do have the name that Tom was thinking of was the Penske Museum, Penske Racing Museum that he mentioned on air. He had forgotten. He called back and told me that. Also, there are quite a lot.
Yeah, you said Penske?
Penske.
I think the Petties have something there, too.
I'm sure there's a bunch. I mean, car culture out there is pretty big.
Right.
I always think of Vegas as just an extension of Los Angeles.
We're just getting in as the NASCAR folks are leaving because I think they had the big race there yesterday, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I don't know who won. We'll have to look that up. I'm not, I could go see some cars. I'm not a car aficionado. But
what about the Burlesque Hall of Fame? You into that?
Ooh, Burlesque. Well, that was one of the things they talked about in that CNN thing was the burlesque, how that kind of became popular with the on the Strip.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. And then there's nothing wrong with a little burlesque, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Kyle Larson won the Cup race yesterday in Las Vegas. So he, I think that's the second time he's won. I think he won last year there as well. So good on Kyle Larson. And now they come here. So again, I'm going to be missing that this weekend too. NASCAR is in Phoenix this week. Phoenix is going to be the championship this year. So they'll be back again in the fall for the final race. So we got a lot going on. We got the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament in Las Vegas. We got Cologuard here in Tucson this weekend. We talked to Jeff Hill. If you missed our conversation with Jeff Hill, the Conquistadors, head on over right now to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com. You can listen to that link. They're at La Paloma this year, so there's a lot going on in terms of the new location. And Jeff's got all that information on what you need to know in terms of how to navigate things out at La Paloma. And then, as I mentioned, the NASCAR this weekend up in Phoenix at the Motor Speedway there. So there's a lot of good stuff happening.
I'd be interested maybe in going in November to the second Formula One event on the Strip. Because, I mean, that whole thing was it Morocco? Or,
Yeah.
Where those races where they actually have the race go through downtown, and that's what this is. Last year, I believe, was the first ever, and I remember that they had some issues, especially in the practice sessions, right? Because they had some issues with, I think it was drainage holes in the ground that they had to cancel a bunch of the preliminary stuff the day before. But that was the first time they'd had it up there. And I would be interested in seeing Formula One cars go 200 plus miles an hour through downtown, through the Strip area. I think would be really a sight to see.
Well,
That's a bucket list thing.
It has, when you talk about Las Vegas as a sports town, I mean, what's funny because today is the 35th anniversary of my pledging of my fraternity, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. We like to refer to it as the Alphaversary.
Right.
35 years ago today, March 4th, 1989. I went over with my 3 Lime brothers in my chapter and 26 other Lime brothers throughout the basin of Los Angeles at a number of colleges. And when I was thinking about that this morning, one of the things that kind of came to my mind is how irrelevant UNLV basketball has been since the late 1980s. Because it got me thinking back to what was relevant in 1989, and I'm thinking to myself, man, that was when UNLV basketball meant something. That's when they were the running rebels back in that day. And they have completely, it really kind of sunk in that they just have not been relevant for 30 plus years now in basketball, which is shocking when you think about how good those Jerry Tarkanian teams were back in the 1980s.
Yeah, and that's the old question of, is it the coach or is it the program?
Right.
Right. I mean, Lute left, and I think a lot of fans thought there would be no fall off, but there kind of was interim years. Obviously before Lute announced his official retirement, it's just a matter of personality. So if you come in and you have a similar personality, that's why, like, when Guthridge took over from Dean Smith, there was no loss because he had been there with that program for 30 plus years or whatever. Tarkanian was such a unique person and unique coach, and his style changed over time. He was one of those guys who really, adapted to his personnel. But those late 80s, early 90s teams, we think of the dominance of the Rebels, that personnel they had, DK. I mean, you talk about between, Graham Ahmad, Larry Johnson, maybe the best power forward at college level I ever saw. I mean, that good at all. I mean, they had a roster top to bottom that was put together to win. I don't know that they've actually been to the NCAA tournament, I think, 10 times since then.
Yeah.
But nothing that stands out because those teams, everybody remembers the Rebel. Everybody remembers them beating, Duke by 30?
Yeah.
And then coming back the next year undefeated and losing to Duke in the finals. Everybody remembers that era because it was so, I mean, for lack of a better word, sexy. It was just like the craziest, like, hype going on around that team and how good they were. And obviously, remember the Sports Illustrated cover where they were sitting in a hot tub with gold chains and smoking cigars and, try and put sanctions on us. We don't care what you think, NCAA. Like, that was, NIL maybe could trace back to that team because they kind of transcended popularity. They were super, super popular right before the Fab Five took it to the next level. But you're right. I mean, hasn't been, and you would have to play a style. The Running Rebels we know them as the Running Rebels.
Yeah.
They played the craziest matchup defense that they called the Amoeba defense is what Tarkanian played. Right. And it was a really, really weird matchup zone that when you put the right personnel in there, Greg Anthony, Anderson Hunt, we remember all the names, they were devastating defensively. I don't know if I've seen a lot of great defensive teams over the years. Houston's team right now, great defensively. But I don't know that I've seen a better defensive unit than that late 80s, early 90s Tarkanian-led Running Rebels. And their defense led to a lot of runouts, a lot of fast-paced offense. And I don't know that I've really seen UNLV really play that style. They just don't have the people. They don't have the people. I think something to do with the conference, but you're right. They just haven't had anything close to that since then.
No. And it's interesting when I kind of categorize it to somewhat to, my mentality about Arizona State. You would think that Arizona State would be better because They're in a major city. There's a lot of money in Phoenix. You would think there would be more money in that program, and I would think the same way against, because of all the money that's in Las Vegas, that program, and maybe, and I don't know if now that we're in this NIL era, that would help at UNLV if they could get back to being that type of program with all the money that's in those hotels and in the city and the Strip. I mean, it just seems like it would be an NIL haven if they're doing it the right way and trying to capitalize on that, because who wouldn't want to play in that community? And in that community, I mean, they still turn out for UNLV basketball, but man, if they do
when they're good.
Yeah, if they could get good again, I mean, that town would be electric.
Look no further than my cousin. His name's Sean Bird, and he could give a damn about sports in general. Like, he just does not watch sports. But for those 2, 3, 4 years, he wore the gear. He kept telling me how great UNLV was. That whole civic pride thing, the whole city, I think that was the first time that I know of that they had something to rally behind, because obviously they didn't have. And now it's totally different, DK, because once the A's get there, what is that now? Three professionals with the fourth on the way. So, as soon as basketball finds their way there, there's just so many things, so many professional teams to take interest from.
It's going to be interesting because there seems to be a concern about whether there's enough corporate dollars there to support professional sports to that level.
Yeah.
If maybe they're still not up in the echelons of a Phoenix or a Los Angeles where they can support 4 major professional sport franchises, maybe 2, and we heard what the mayor said, that maybe she would prefer that the A's stay in Oakland. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. I think, and I said it last summer when I was talking about, I thought UNLV would be a perfect fit in the Pac-12 at the time. That it's the fastest growing sports town in the country, and I think it's going to continue.
They need to get in a better league. For sure.
Yes. Oh yes. All right, we're way past again, but we will continue to chat in the 5 o'clock hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions, Duval Mine Road at I-19, also Tancaverde and Sabino Canyon and Tancaverde. Eastbound I-10, milepost 302 at State Route 90, eastbound I-10 near Benson. Expect ramp closures from 9 till midnight tonight. And for your weather, 46 and clear overnight, 74 partly cloudy tomorrow, 50% chance of rain on Thursday, and 71 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. This March at Wendy's, get a Dave's single for $1 or Dave's double for just $2 with the in-app offer. Limited time offer at participating U.S. Wendy's. Redeem in Wendy's app. Account registration required. See offer in Wendy's app for details.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. The Boston Celtics have been playing pro basketball since 1946. Never, not even one time, had they ever led any game by 44 at halftime until last night. And they did it against Golden State. And they didn't just beat the Dubs by 52. They put a $140 on the Dubs. That's no one-off. They're currently in the midst of one of the all-time heaters ever. Boston has run off 11 straight wins, and it's almost like winning is no longer enough for them. It's almost like the Celtics need to humiliate you, eviscerate you, vaporize you to feel good about beating you. They're not just winning every single night, they are leaving a full, scorched earth path of destruction behind them. And if it feels like you've never heard of a team stretch that dominant in the history of the NBA, that's probably because there has never been a team stretch this dominant in the history of the NBA. Say, for the ones who get it done, Grainger is offering high-quality supplies and solutions for every single industry, as well as access to product specialists who have the knowledge and the experience to answer your toughest questions. Plus, their commitment to being your safety partner can help you keep your facility safe and your people even safer. So, call, click, Grainger.com, or just stop on by. Grainger.com.
O'Reilly.
For a
Protect your engine with Shell Rotella Motor Oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Shell Rotella provides triple action to help control wear, deposits, and emissions, and adapts to your driving conditions. Right now, save $5 on all 1-gallon Shell Rotella products. Limits apply. See your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
When you wake up well-rested on a great mattress, everything becomes clear. My life coach has a terrible life. Things you missed when you were tired finally reveal themselves.
I use memes as a coping mechanism.
At Mattress Firm, we know the right mattress matters. While supplies last, save up to 50% on select Tempur-Adapt floor models. All with free and fast delivery. The right mattress matters. We'll find yours. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste. Because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 3 of the program today. It is Monday, which means we've got the Tommy Lloyd Radio Show coming up for you tonight at 6:05, so join us for that. There are 2 more of those to go. This Monday, next Monday at the Union Public House, the Adia Barnes Radio Show, most popular radio show on this station. The funniest radio show on this station, way more funnier than my show, is over for the year because the Pac-12 women's basketball tournament starts this week in Las Vegas. We will be in Las Vegas. DK the Sports Tip is going to LVNV. What do people that actually live in Las Vegas feel like when do they like that term LVNV?
I've never heard anybody object or be mad by hearing that. No, I don't.
Okay.
think so.
I don't want to upset the people of
If
Las
you
Vegas.
call somebody who was born here a Tucsonian, then they might be upset with you. But I've never heard anybody LVNV.
You can say to sewn in, but
sewn
just
in
not
is
to
correct.
sewn in.
Yeah, that's not correct.
Yeah, no, that's not correct. Not at all. But we'll be there starting tomorrow. DK on the Sports Tip. It'll be 2 o'clock when we start the show in Las Vegas because they are on Pacific Standard Time, 3 o'clock here, normal start time. So I'll have to adjust my mindset to that. I'll be like sitting there at 2 o'clock and J-Dub will be like, you're up. And I'll be like, I'm not ready.
Be jet lagged.
I'm not ready.
Jet lagged from your 400-mile drive.
From my 6-hour drive tonight. So if you see me, if you see the red Mazda on 93 today or 40 or whatever, on the way up, honk and give me the high sign or whatever. Something great happened on Friday night on on an ice rink in Ottawa, Canada.
Carcone with it. Drops it back. That hard shot. Look out. Got a chance. Rebound. Score. Fired home by Michael Carcone. As Maselli brings it in. Drops it back off for Schmaltz. Feeds it back. Gunther shot. Score. A lightning strike by Dylan Gunther on the power play. And Arizona's back on top 4-3. And the Arizona Coyotes will pick up their first win since January 22nd. Snapping a 14-game winless streak.
Ding dong, the witch is dead. The Coyotes won a hockey game on Friday night. And it gets better, J-Dub. Not only did they win a hockey game on Friday, they won another hockey game on Sunday. 2 wins in a row for the Yotes after they lost 14 games in a row. They beat the Ottawa Senators on Friday night 5-3. They came back and beat the Washington Capitals 5-2 last night. 10 goals in 2 games for a team that had lost 14 in a row. Andre Turigny. Can we start talking about a 2-game winning streak?
Yeah, slowly but surely, I guess. No, but I think it's a good trip. I think we the first 3 games we played really well. We got only 1 point. I don't think we play as good the last 2, but we found a way to win. I think as weird as it sounds, our guys are in pretty good zone. So we pull it out.
I mean, they scored 17 goals on this road trip. It was a 5-game road trip. They scored 17 goals in 5 games. So, I mean, it wasn't like they couldn't score. They lost to Winnipeg. They lost to Montreal. They lost to Toronto. And then they got the wins, the last 2 on the trip. They come home to play the Blackhawks tomorrow night. I'm sure the building will be, I don't know if you can get that's the interesting thing. I've not obviously been to a game at the Mullet, but back when they were at Gila River Arena, you know, Chicago stinks this year. I mean, I think they won like 15 games, but it's still Chicago, and there's still a heavy presence of people from Chicago,
of course,
that live in Arizona. So you go see the Coyotes in Chicago, and then 60% of the building would be Blackhawks fans. I don't know. I'm wondering, can they do that in the new Mullet? Because it's such a small venue, can the visiting teams, especially the what they call the original 6 teams that have so much of a big fan base out here, can they take over the arena at the Mullet like they did at the bigger venues?
They can if the team's on a 14-game losing streak.
Even that, I would still think you could find 4,500 people that would go and cheer for the Coyotes. I would be interested to know. We might have to dig a little bit more deep into that to find out like what the crowds are like at these Coyote games. If you've been to a Coyote game this year, because I've not been.
You've been busy.
I've not been. I've actually not been since the last playoff game that I've spoken about in 2012. So it's been a long time since I went to a Coyotes game. We're going on 14 years now, or 12 years now. But if you've been to a game this year or been to a game at the Mullet in the last 2 years, what's it like? Are the visiting teams, are they still coming in when the St. Louis comes in, when Chicago comes in, when the Rangers come in, when the Capitals come in? Are those fan bases still taking over? Are they still taking over the Mullet like they took over Gila River Arena? I'd like to know that. 520-848-1290. 520-848-1290.
Are we rooting for the Canucks?
Should we be rooting for
Or the Jets?
Vancouver?
How many years has it been since a Canadian team won a Stanley Cup?
Winnipeg. I mean, I think we're rooting for Winnipeg because of Austin Matthews.
Of course.
Yeah.
I just meant
he's got family here. I think they own a bar. I remember a few years ago when he made his debut. He had family that had a bar here in Tucson. I don't know if it's still open.
I just know there's been a long dry spell for the Canadian hockey teams winning the Cup. So.
I mean, I would vote for Winnipeg. I don't know. I mean, Vancouver, I don't know if there's, maybe.
Well, Vancouver was currently in first, and they are 30 points ahead of Arizona right now. Yeah, 85 points for the Canucks. Arizona with their 2 wins in a row coming in at 55 points on the season.
That's not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. We thought it was going to be a good year, but it got sideways pretty quickly. And now you're just trying to play your way into it. They're not even, I don't think, in the playoffs picture at all at this point, probably. Let's look it up real quick. No, they're pretty far out of it.
They
there
are
2 wild cards. They're what?
4th from the bottom in the Western Conference. So that's out of like 15
The Predators
teams.
have 70, so they're 17 points out of the playoffs right now. And they would have to climb 4 other teams to get there. So even Seattle, who they made the conference finals, is not currently in the playoff picture right now. We're going up, obviously, to Vegas. Vegas is in. They are the defending Cup champions. They're in 3rd place, though, in the Pacific Division. Cricket rejoins us because, Cricket, I understand, has some tickets.
Yes, sir.
What you got today, Cricket?
Well, the Tucson Roadrunners have a pair of midweek games this week at the Tucson Arena against Calgary.
Have you ever been to Calgary?
No, never.
No, have you been to Canada at all?
No.
No. You got to go.
Do I really?
Have you ever been outside the country?
No. Yeah,
No.
well, I've been to Mexico.
Okay.
But yeah, so yeah.
Okay. That counts.
Yeah.
But you should go. Canada's nice.
It sounds cold.
It's cold. It can be cold. It depends on what time of year you go. But sometimes if you go high enough in Canada, you can see the sun all day long.
Okay, fair enough.
At the right time of the year.
Good to know.
There you go.
And so the boys are currently in 3rd place in the Pacific Division, 9 points behind Coachella Valley. So I've got tickets for both games this week, but today I'm giving you tickets to tomorrow night's contest. Tuesday, 7 p.m. face-off with the Wranglers. Caller 2 right now, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290. Caller 2 going to go see the Tucson Roadrunners and the Calgary Wranglers on Tuesday night. This is a 4-pack of tickets for a little midweek heat on ice.
There you go. Well, we don't want too much heat on the ice because then it melts.
We have
and
troubles.
When the guys can't skate. But okay, caller number 2, 520-848-1290 gets a 4-pack of tickets to tomorrow night's game between the Roadrunners and the Calgary Wranglers. So I went to Canada. Gosh, it was probably about 4 years ago now. I actually went to Seattle, and we just took the ferry over to like the southern.
Oh, cool.
Victoria is the city that's like right near Seattle. So that's in British Columbia. And so I think we had this conversation because I talked about we went on the little tour, and it was the runner that they had cancer that ran across country. They made a movie about him in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was when we went to Canada. So we took a little, and it was interesting. It's very, they're very still into the Queen. Well, they were, obviously at the time she was still alive. So there's a lot of, Canadian, British royalty symbols and that kind of thing. And the whole British is very, very present there.
That's
in that
kinda
part
neat.
of Canada, yeah. So it was interesting to kind of go up there. And I'd never been to that part of Canada before.
I like Old Quebec because
Quebec.
everything's in French.
Okay.
They've got their own government. Like they got a big
Fancy.
old wall, like you would imagine in like the 1500s, one of those big old castle walls, and everything inside that wall is French. It's
Is
weird.
it to keep you out or to keep everyone in?
It's to keep the culture in.
Okay.
Are you watching the latest edition of The Bachelor?
No.
Oh, okay.
Are you? You have to.
Well, I have to because my wife watches it.
I knew it. It's the only reason why you're watching. I knew it.
Well, it's funny. We talked about that yesterday. We have some friends in, and we're like, and the friend from Cleveland was asking me, he's like, well, what are you watching now? It's like, I don't have a show. There's like I used to have shows. I don't have shows anymore. There's nothing on. I mean, I watch my wife's shows. I mean, it's been that way for like 4 years now. Like, she watched This Is Us. I didn't watch it. I watched that with her. She watched the other one on ABC. I can't remember, about A Million Little Things or whatever. That was her show. I watched that. I was like, I don't really have a show anymore. I said I worked at Channel 4 for 4 years, and it seemed like I would turn on the TV every night, and America's Got Talent was on. I was like, is that show on every night? It seems like it was on every single night.
All the time.
I was like, I don't really have a show. Like, I watch the news, I watch my sporting events, and that's about it. So I gotta find a show.
Below Deck.
Maybe Below Deck. That might be the show. That's Cricket's show.
Highly recommended.
I know that. All right, get us home, Cricket. We'll find out who's going to the hockey game when we come back. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Cricket every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Some slowing at Ajo Way and Mission as usual. Got reported collisions Alvernon south of Ajo Way, Wilma and Saurita Road, Grant Road west of Columbus, and a crash at Prince Road and Stone Avenue. 46 and clear overnight, 74 partly cloudy tomorrow. 50% chance of rain Thursday and 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio.
Don't break anything while I'm gone.
I will try.
All right.
We'll try our hardest.
No.
That's your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of $100 or more, $50 off your print purchase of $200 or more, and $100 off your print purchase of $300 or more. Offer ends 4/6. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey lingo.
You're doing that. You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
Sean Furrier for Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care. Spring is on its way to southern Arizona, and while we're hoping for a few more weeks of mild weather, we know extreme heat comes next. So right now is the time to get your car or truck road trip ready. And with 14 convenient locations, Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is the place. Not sure about your car's air conditioner? Need to check out that light on your dashboard? Or make sure your battery can make it through another summer? Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care is here to help. With decades of experience here in Arizona and dozens of top shop awards for tires and automotive maintenance. And right now, save big on the brands you love, like Michelin, and get big rebates like $100 back on Cooper tires. Plus, buy 3, get 1 free on Cooper's new Pro Control Series tires. You can stack on even more savings when you pay with your Jack Furrier card. Check out jackfurriers.com for all the promotions and details, and even more money-saving coupons on top of our already low prices. Jack Furrier Tire and Auto Care, since 1960, here to get you there.
Coach Tommy Lloyd here. Right Way Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing always delivers excellence.
Great news! Free furnace season has been extended through the end of March. Have you been thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system this year? To spark business, we're giving away an 80% gas furnace or a heat pump air handler with the purchase of a new air conditioning system.
And if that's not enough, we'll include a Wi-Fi thermostat, 10-year parts and labor warranty, plus we have 0 interest financing available.
Call or text 520-200-2422 to book your free estimate today or visit rightwayac.com.
Hi, you know me, Scott Lehman from ScottSaysYes.com. Check out this month's Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar powered by Premier Auto Center.
Visit the Wildcats Radio 1290 Community Calendar at wildcatsradio1290.com to find out what community events are coming up in the Tucson area. You can also find Wildcats Radio 1290 events, upcoming sporting events, and more. Get the details and get involved with our community at wildcatsradio1290.com.
Go to ScottSaysYes.com today.
With Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, you can check if you're paying too much for home insurance, because giving you options is the right thing to do.
Oh, you mean like when I let someone with less groceries go ahead in line? Sure, there's a part of me that thinks, if you only need 3 things, maybe go to a convenience store next time. And now they're sifting through coupons and my frozen foods are about to be not frozen.
But still, it's the right thing to do. So compare rates with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Something bad has happened to Mom.
Streaming March 14th on Peacock.
Joy Delaney, mother of 4, has gone missing.
From the author of Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers.
She will come back.
You think we're this, big, happy family?
I have a confession.
Starring Oscar nominee Annette Bening, Sam Neill, Jake Lacey, and Allison Brie.
Secrets will poison any family, and what you don't know can hurt you.
Apples Never Fall. Streaming March 14th, only on Peacock.
Wildcats Radio 1290 is everywhere. Wildcats fans can listen to us everywhere on our all-new app.
Now available from the Google Play Store and the App Store for iPhone users.
The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
3 little words no parent wants to hear.
My tummy hurts.
And it always seems to happen at the worst times. Like in the middle of the morning rush, when you still have homework to check and lunches to pack, and of course, you're already late for work. Luckily, there's Pepto Kids. Pepto Kids Chewables provide fast relief for common stomach issues, turning those 3 words into these 3 words.
I feel better.
Bad time for stomach upsets? Good time for Pepto Kids Chewables. Fast relief for little tummies. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Remember, the one and only play-by-play home for Arizona Athletics is 1290. So if you're listening to Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball, you have it locked on 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290.
He's kind and he's funny and he's also mustachioed. He solves all your problems by the end of every episode. TV Dad. Everyone loves TV Dad. TV Dad. Unlike your real dad, he never hollers. And he tells you how Progressive can save you lots of dollars.
Listen to your TV Dad. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Cricket had tickets to the Tucson Roadrunners on Tuesday night. J-Dub, who's going to the game?
Aaron Contreras and his family is very excited. He's a Roadrunner fan, so really looking forward to taking the kids out to the game.
Outstanding. Congratulations to Aaron. And who knows? Maybe Cricket will have some tickets tomorrow.
She's always got
for
something
the game
in her
on
pocket.
Wednesday. So be listening for your chance to win, because Cricket generally does have some kind of tickets. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We were talking about the winning weekend for the Arizona Coyotes, the parent club of the Tucson Roadrunners, finally getting some wins. After losing 14 games in a row, they knocked off both the Ottawa Senators and the Washington Capitals. Dylan Guenther had a goal and 2 assists in the game against the Capitals on Sunday. He's had 5 points in the last 2 games. Yesterday's game was the first 3-point game of his NHL career. He's got 17 points. He started, remember, Dylan Guenther started the year here in Tucson and then got called up and has become a force, as it was expected he was going to potentially be a future star offensively for the Coyotes, and he is starting to do that. And Dylan talked about the club winning back-to-back games.
It feels great. I think we've been playing really well the last 2 weeks, and, let's just keep this thing going. We got some confidence right now, so just roll with it.
Dylan, today was your first career 3-point night in the NHL anyways, and you got 5 points in the last 2 games. What has been going right? And you've really seemingly been feeling it since you were called up. What's been going right for you, especially lately?
Yeah, I think just lately, that happens. I think just beneficiary of trying to do the little things right, win my battles and the stuff that I need to improve on. And, my line mates finished some nice plays there. So I think just keep trying to do the little things, and the other stuff kind of just takes care of itself.
Karel Vejmelka played in the goal yesterday, 24 saves on 26 shots. Goals yesterday also by Logan Cooley, Jason Zucker, Michael Kesselring, and Nick Schmaltz for the Coyotes as they won the game 5-2, and now they are on their way home to take on the Chicago Blackhawks at the Mullet on Wednesday, or I should say on Tuesday night. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program if you want to talk some Arizona Coyotes hockey, and if you are impressed with the fact that they've kind of, won a couple of games, although, as we mentioned, they're far, far out of the playoffs at the moment. We've got the new athletics director, J-Dub. She started yesterday. Officially was her first day, but obviously today the first actual working day for Desiree Reed-Francois. So welcome, Desiree, to Tucson. Looking forward to her tenure. We understand that we may get a chance to speak with her next week for the first time in a one-on-one setting. So we look forward to that as well as she begins her tenure here as the new athletics director at the University of Arizona. I'm sure she was probably proud of her Arizona men's basketball team on Saturday and their performance on senior day, 103-83, the big win. The 5 seniors going out the right way. Grant Whiteman getting the start, making an impact with 2 steals and an uncharted assist early in the ball game off of one of those steals, and the performances by Caleb Love and Pella Larson and Keyshawn Johnson and Umar Bala with his 9th straight double-double. And those 5 gentlemen spoke on the floor after the game. In case you missed it, we are going to give that to you right now.
Cats beat the Ducks. Seniors on the floor right now. Here's Keyshawn Johnson addressing the crowd.
Home game. I love y'all. Tommy Lloyd and the staff, man, I love y'all to death. Every single one of y'all all hold a heavy place in my heart, man. And last but not least, my family over there, I love y'all to death. Love y'all to death. And shout out to the town, Oakland, California, man. And I'm going to welcome Mr. 2000, C. Lover.
Wildcat seniors addressing the crowd here. Caleb Love is next up after you heard from Keyshawn Johnson.
I just want to appreciate everything y'all bring, the energy. You know, I've been through a tough journey, but, you know, I can't thank y'all enough for what y'all did for me and my family this past year. My teammates, y'all know I love y'all. You know, all the battles we done, pool table, you know, we go at it every time. So I just want to thank y'all. You know, y'all recreated memories for a lifetime. My coaches, I appreciate y'all. You know, y'all put so much time into this game, and y'all just, you know, uplift us each and every day. Briggs, I love you. E-Moy, you know, our managers, can't thank y'all enough. Our managers, they put so much work in. I thank y'all. My mom, my dad, D-Schemo over there, feel me? I love y'all. But job not finished though. We got to win the national championship.
Caleb Love addressing the crowd here at McKill Center.
I'm going to introduce the big man in the middle, Big O.
And now Umar Bala with his 9th straight double-double today.
What's up, Tucson?
Hey, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Tucson. You know, you guys took care of me. You guys gave me a second chance, second opportunity, a new beginning. I'm nothing but grateful for this city. Thank you so much. And, you know, I can finish without thanking Tommy. You know, this is the guy who trusts me when no one did, when no one believed in me. He saw something in me. I'm forever grateful for him and his family for what they have done for me. They impact my life in a really good way. Not only as a basketball player, but most importantly, as a human being. And last and not least, I want to thank my family for coming out here to support me. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Tucson, I love you.
Umar Bala, one of the 5 seniors addressing the crowd here, and everybody stayed at McKill for this.
And I'm going to pass the mic to one of my soulmates, Pella Larson. Here he goes. I love you, P.
What's up, Tucson? I mean, I want to thank Tommy, of course, for bringing me here, showing me this beautiful place. I want to thank my teammates, staff. You guys put blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, we put it all out there for you guys, and I know I fall a lot. I got a lot of bruises, but I mean, trust me, they're all worth it. Like for this, for you guys, it's all worth it.
And then I got 3 of the most important women in my life here tonight. I want to thank them for coming. And, I mean, you guys have shown me so much love. This city deserves a championship. We're going to put everything we f***ing got. Everything we f***ing...
All right, Tucson. Hey, you know the drill. We got work to do in L.A., then we'll see all you in Vegas. Here we go.
Thanks to Coors Light for bringing you today's Arizona Insiders on Wildcats Radio 1290. Coors Light, official corporate sponsors of Arizona Athletics. There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
Man, oh man. Pelle Larsson going big poppy.
Well, I mean, you said many times that you were in the locker room.
Yeah.
And Pelle seemed to take it the hardest after that loss to Princeton. Well,
right.
There you go.
There you go. Right there. Great speeches. Great to see that Saturday at the end of the Arizona men's basketball game. Very something similar at the end of the Arizona women's basketball game, although they did not win in their contest against UCLA. Dia Barnes afterward said that she believes that UCLA is a Final Four team. That's how good they are. They got Lauren Betts, who, and a lot of people, we've talked a lot about roster turnover. I mean, she transferred to UCLA from Stanford. I mean, Stanford again, and we talk about transfer portal and teams losing players. I mean, this was arguably the number 1 player in last year's class, 2022, going to one of the top programs in the country. And after 1 year, because she primarily was playing behind another star in Cameron Brink, decided that she didn't want to play another year in that role and went and found her a school where she could be that lead person. And that's kind of how it works nowadays.
It's like weird because it's as simple as when you're playing 30 minutes a game in high school and putting up 25, 10, and 5 blocks and whatever, guess what? Your social media numbers go way up because everybody loves watching you play. And then you come as a freshman, even at a place like Stanford, which has been a perennial top 5 team forever. You're playing behind Cameron Brink. You're not getting on the court as much. Those numbers start to maybe dwindle a little bit because you're not. And that's just that's the landscape that we're in these days.
But that's just, I don't know. That's just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me that you would like that. I mean, but again, like you said, it's different. It's different now. Back in the day, and I know we use that term because we're old. You know, you went and you waited your turn, and then you did your thing, and then you went on to be great wherever. But now kids just don't want to wait their turn. It's like, come on, really? I mean, I don't get it, but
UCLA is a good school.
Yeah, it's a
but
great
I
school.
don't know many players outside of the NIL and transfer portal era, DK, that would ever pass up on a degree from Stanford.
Right, yeah.
That's a different level of education. So that alone, I mean, again, top flight player coming in, somebody's playing the same position as you, and they're a starter and they're a star, and you're not getting as many minutes as a freshman. Maybe you have issues behind the scenes with the coaching staff. We don't know all those things. Maybe some of her best friends went to go play with the Bruins, and that was her second choice. I don't know all those answers. But I do know that it's so shocking to me that a high-profile recruit would leave Tara's, group over there at Stanford, let alone within the conference. So, yeah, it's just I'm all about change. I think NIL is good. I just think we got to get it under control, some kind of regulation. But people are going to be moving, DK. This is what it is now. You're going to see players moving and scratch your head and say to yourself, why would you leave Stanford? Well, they're a potential Final Four team. That's a good reason why they're successful as well. So, yeah, I mean, it's just weird.
We were talking earlier about the Mob in Tucson, as Pete had chimed in and recommended I go to the Mob Museum. I've done that once. It is a very, very interesting place. I think the thing that I loved the most, the kind of thing that stood out to me about the Mob Museum was you get to listen to the wiretaps. That to me is so cool. You can pick up they have like this bank of phones, and you can just pick up like an old style phone and listen to what the mobsters were saying on the wiretaps when they were talking. I thought that was cool about it. They've got like an underground speakeasy. You can go down. You can actually go down there. I don't even know if it's actually it's inside the museum.
Is
but
it hidden
it's a
behind
separate thing?
A bookshelf, like a secret knock
bookshelf? I can't remember. I think there might have been. I think we might have gone through like a wall or something
it'd have
to get
to be,
to it. Yeah. and you can go down there and you can have, it's like a bar. You can just go down and have drinks and that kind of thing. It's not an actual part of the tour, but it's there. So that was kind of a cool thing about the Mob Museum. Anyway, but he was talking about, and then Tom called and was talking about Joseph Bonanno Sr., who had ties here to Tucson. He was the leader of the 5 families that governed La Cosa Nostra back in the day. So he was saying that he had a house by Arizona Inn. That's obviously the Catalina Vista neighborhood. So his kids went to school at St. Peter and Paul, the Catholic church right there that's across from Banner UMC. So that was the tie. He actually died here, I believe, in 2002. He came here to live the final years of his life, Joseph Bonanno Sr., the famed Bonanno crime family in New York City. So that's part of the Tucson mob era to go along, as you said, J-Dub, like an extension of the Las Vegas mob. What was the term you used earlier? Adjacent, Tucson, mob adjacent.
Yeah, I think Phoenix and Tucson fall in that category. Whereas when Vegas was being built up and to be an extension of Chicago and New York mafiosa ties, that Tucson and Phoenix, because of their location, became places where I don't even know what the term would be, but not necessarily people who are involved in the day-to-day runnings of the operation as much as, just being close by.
All right, getting you home every 20 minutes on the 5s with your traffic and your weather. Here's Cricket.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and weather together. With collisions, Wilmot and Saurita Road, Alvernon south of Ajo Way, Grant Road west of Columbus, also a crash at Prince, and Stone Avenue and Prince Road. Also a wreck that occurred on Wilmot south of Golf Links at Wilmot and Stella. And for your weather, clear and overnight tonight, about 46 is our low, 74 partly cloudy tomorrow with a 50% chance of rain on Thursday, 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. Let Express Employment Professionals help you hire for contract or full-time jobs. Forget about posting jobs, sifting through resumes, and interviews with unqualified applicants. Go to ExpressPros.com to find the location near you. That's ExpressPros.com.
At Standard Restaurant Supply, their vision and #1 goal is to improve the lives of their customers and clients by providing a better culinary experience. Standard Restaurant Supply, if it's in a restaurant and not food, they have it. Open to the public, no membership fees, and they offer bulk store pricing without the bulk store purchase. Open Monday through Saturday at 601 South Cherry Avenue or call 885-2345. Standard Restaurant Supply is a proud sponsor of the U of A Radio Sports broadcast.
Summer of 93, 76 days over 100. Summer of 23, the hottest on record.
We can't change the weather, but we can change your comfort.
Alaskan AC introduces the Grizzly.
The only air conditioner built for Arizona summers. It'll claw down hot temps.
The Grizzly.
This is getting intense.
It eats Arizona summers for breakfast.
Then it spits them out at lunch.
Wait a second.
The Grizzly claws the competition.
Tears them apart. Do another one.
Pounces on heat like it's a salmon spawning and rips it apart.
Like a salmon spawning?
Then it takes a pirate sword and stabs high temperatures.
Hold it.
Aw, it was just getting good.
Folks, we designed a new air conditioner made to handle the heat and dust of Arizona summers. We call it the Grizzly.
Yeah.
Take it easy. It's tough as a grizzly, but gentle on your budget.
That pirate sword?
Before summer gets blazing, learn more about the Grizzly at AlaskanAC.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today.
We have representatives nationwide who will explain the InventHelp process step by step. Over 10,000 patents have been secured through InventHelp's patent referral services. The InventHelp Data Bank includes thousands of companies who have agreed to review new ideas. We've been helping inventors since 1984. Let's help you next. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380. Again, 1-800-217-4380.
Hey, it's David Kelly. Do you know the radio is not the only place to find Wildcats Radio 1290? You can stream us by downloading our 1290 app.
A deep three is good, and the Cats are on top.
We're also available on the iHeartMedia and Odyssey apps, or head to our website, wildcatsradio1290.com.
Touchdown, Cats.
We're even on Alexa. Just ask her to put on Wildcats Radio 1290 so you never miss any of Southern Arizona's most important and in-depth conversation.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code SCORE for an extra 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code SCORE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code SCORE.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Final segment of the show here in Tucson for a while as we are headed to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 Women's Basketball Tournament. That starts our coverage there tomorrow. I'm already getting a bunch of emails about things that are going on. If you want to meet the mascots, they're going to have a mascot meet and greet on Wednesday night. I believe this is after play ends, approximately 10:30 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in the main lobby there. So you can meet Wilbur, Sparky, Oski, Chip, the Duck, Benny, the Tree.
Donald, right?
No, not Donald. Joe and Josie. You know who Joe and Josie are? What school they're affiliated with? I guess
Oregon State.
I guess Wilma's not going because they only have Wilbur on here. Joe and Josie Bruin. Tommy. Swoop. You know who's Swoop?
Swoop is the... I don't.
No, I wouldn't have known.
I've heard
either.
that, but I don't remember.
Swoop, Harry, and Butch. Swoop is Utah. Harry the Husky, and Butch T. Cougar.
Now, as a media journalist...
Husky is kind of cool, though. I like that name.
As a media journalist who interviews people from all levels of importance across the sports landscape, how does one like yourself go into a room full of mascots and get an answer because they're not allowed to talk, right?
Right. It works on television because they can be animated. We did that. In fact, I think we did that story the first year I went to the Pac-12 men's basketball tournament when I was with Channel 13. But yeah, radio's kind of tough because they can't talk, you can't hear them. I don't know how it works.
The Oregon Duck's based on Donald Duck.
Okay. There you go.
I just call him Donald. I don't know what his name is, but he's legitimately when they first came up with that mascot, it was based on Donald Duck.
I saw there's some other cool stuff that's going to be happening. We've got, just to name a few of the things, there's going to be pep rallies. That'll be, of course, we'll have pep rallies. They're going to have what's called a Circus Soleil. They're going to sing the national anthem for one of the, I think that's on Sunday, for the championship game, if you're still
Are they
there.
going to do it while hula hooping flames?
I don't know.
Probably.
It does not say anything about hula hoops and flames. There's going to be a Pac-12 After Dark dance party. During the final game of each of the 4-game sessions, fans will be able to participate in a Pac-12 After Dark dance party featuring music, DJ performances, glow sticks, and more.
It's just sad. I mean, Pac-12 After Dark was a meme for the last 10, 15 years, but it's done.
Yeah, it is.
It's no more.
It's sad. It's all very sad. This is, I mean, I sent out a tweet to some of my, not a tweet, a text to some of my friends. I said, well, is anybody going to Las Vegas for the Pac-12 farewell? Because that's essentially what it is. It's a farewell to this conference. And it's going to be interesting to see it all play out the next 2 weeks. We'll be there front and center. All right, there was some big history that happened in women's college basketball over the weekend.
This for college basketball history. She does it with a foul shot. Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball history, passing Pistol Pete Maravich.
The great Gus Johnson with the call of that ball game right there. Caitlin Clark entered the Hawkeyes meeting with number 2 Ohio State, needing 18 points to set the record, and she accomplished that in the first half, breaking it on that free throw you heard right there, passing LSU legend Pistol Pete Maravich for the most points ever scored by a college basketball player, man or woman. It's amazing to me that record has held for 54 years. You would think that there would be somebody along the lines of the last 54 years who would have scored more than 3,600 points, but not until Caitlin Clark yesterday.
Well, there's only one Pistol Pete. There's only one Caitlin Clark. There's also only one Preston Maravich, right? That was his name?
Right.
Because Pistol Pete's dad was his coach at LSU, and Pistol Pete's dad let him put up 40 field goal attempts per game on average. That's what he averaged for his whole career. 40. Think about that. 40 a game, DK. 40 in a game. We talked about Caleb Love when he came to the season. Maybe 25 is on the upper end. You want to see him closer to around 18. Pistol Pete Maravich averaged 40 field goal attempts per game.
Crazy, isn't it?
In college.
Wow.
So even though Caitlin Clark played 4 years, and Pistol Pete played the era when freshmen were ineligible, Pistol Pete took 500 more field goal attempts than Caitlin Clark has in her 4-year career. So if you want to talk about, well, Pete didn't play with the three-point line. If he would have, his number would have been higher. Well, take away 500 because, again, that all evens out. Caitlin Clark's made about 500 three-pointers in her career. Mm-hmm. Pistol Pete took about 500 more field goals in his career. It all evens out. But to me, I mean, how do baseball people, talk about the mound being lowered or the ball being different, the juice ball era and all those things, right? Stats are era-based as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so hard to pull, the stats from Pete's era even forward to 20 years ago, let alone today, just because it's a completely different game. I'm not trying to take anything away. Caitlin Clark is the major college sports leader and always will be in points scored. They're both one of a kind. I mean, I remember growing up, Pistol Pete's videos about ball handling and everything were the rage. Everybody I knew, every basketball player I knew had Pistol Pete's skill developing, fundamental developing videos that they watched. So, yeah, I mean, he was a legend, without a doubt.
I mean, it's been a season for Caitlin Clark. She became the all-time leading scorer in Division I women's basketball when she scored 49 points against Michigan on February 15th, dethroning Kelsey Plum. And then she scored 33 against Minnesota to pass Kansas's Lynette Woodard for the major college women's scoring record. And now she is the all-time leading scorer, men's or women's basketball, after passing Mr. Pete Maravich yesterday in a game that Iowa did win at home against number 2 Ohio State, 93-83.
Big game,
but the Buckeyes are still on top of the Big Ten on the women's side by 1 game over the Hawkeyes.
So Pistol Pete in 3 years took 3,166 shots in 83 games.
Wow.
3,200 shots in 83 games. Just crazy.
What is that?
Well, his freshman year, he averaged 39 field goals attempts a game.
39 shots a game.
Sophomore, 37.5. Junior, it's really sophomore, junior, senior because freshmen were ineligible.
Right.
But yeah, 38.1 is his career average per game.
And we get bent when our guys take 20 shots.
Right. 20 is outrageous.
Imagine a guy that took 38 shots per game.
Just a half.
Jeez, that's a lot. Yeah, that only happens when your dad is the coach, right?
Well, that's what I meant. Like you asked why.
I wonder if there's a. I wonder if you had if there was a like. If Bobby Hurley Jr. actually was good,
right?
Could he in this era? Could Bobby Hurley have let his son take 35 shots?
Well, here's the thing: there's an obvious reason as to why. You asked the question. You asked was why? How long? Why? How has that record stood for so long? I mean,
Right.
Pistol Pete's last year was 1970. Okay, the reason is number one. If you're really good, DK, you go to the pros. You don't stay in college for long enough to break that kind of record. And number two, no self-respecting coach is going to let you put up 40 shots as a sophomore, let alone 3,200 for a 3-year career. So you'd have to be in a situation with the ultimate. You talk about green light. There it is. I mean, that's the Pete had the ultimate green light.
Jason Kelce retired today from the National Football League. 13 seasons, played them all in Philadelphia, won a Super Bowl there, 6-time first-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, most consecutive starts in franchise history with 156, most regular season games played by an offensive line in Eagles history on 193, gave what many believe to be the greatest Super Bowl parade speech of all time. Next stop, Canton, Ohio, for Jason Kelce. We'll play tomorrow what he said in his speech about Nick Foles, who he won that Super Bowl with, the Arizona Wildcats quarterback in that, I believe it was 2018. We'll let you hear a little bit of that speech and what he had to say coming up tomorrow. All right, that is going to wrap up our program for today. Again, we are going to be in Las Vegas. Real quick. I forgot. We're going to the top of the hour. That's right.
We are. That's right.
We are going to the top of the hour because we've got Tommy Lloyd. So we do have a few more minutes. We want to give you your Desert Diamond Casino replay. And we mentioned it if you were with us at the top of the show. We had Isaac Bay on before the women's basketball game on Saturday night. And I want you to hear what he said when he was describing the culture of Adia Barnes' program.
This is when you tried to say goodbye the first time.
Yeah.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
Hey, Isaac, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us and enjoy the evening and the rest of the weekend here in Tucson.
Appreciate you, David. Thank you so much. And thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the fans here. Like, it's just, and obviously the coaching staff has been wonderful. All the support staff, everybody here at the school has just been amazing. University of Arizona, this is the place. I'm telling you, anybody, if you're wondering, where the best university in the world is for a young woman to play college basketball, this is it. I cannot imagine that there's a better place than this. I don't think UConn, South Carolina, anywhere, like you're just, I mean, I'm telling you, and a big part of that is Adia and Salvo, Bet, Anthony, like everybody that's coaching, everybody that's doing it. I'm telling you, and there's a reason Adia lands recruits, like she's a special person and this is a special program. And then you got the community on top of it. It's just a great place to live. It's a great community that, it's diverse. People seem to really be accepting of one another. This is a great place to be. And the university is amazing. And the focus on women's basketball is amazing. And so I'm just telling you, everybody who's a Wildcat fan, your team is it. And I'm telling you, for years and years and years, this is going to be great. And, I'm so grateful that ICE has been able to be a part of it.
All right. Well, we look forward to watching Isis play through the rest of this season, and then maybe if everything aligns, we'll get her back for another year.
Fingers crossed. I look forward to be back.
Thanks so much, Isaac.
Appreciate you, David.
Enjoy the night, Isaac.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
This is it, he said. U of A, this is it. Better than UConn, better than South Carolina. Isaac Bay said the program you have here, this is it on the women's basketball side.
We weren't able to fit it into this replay, but earlier in that interview, you asked him about the chances of Isis coming back for another year. And he said, "You don't got to sell me. I'm already 100% on in that. I'm 100% behind it."
Yeah,
so,
he's on board. The question is does Isis want to be on board with another year of classes? Because it doesn't sound like she really wants to do that. And hey, if it's time for her to move on to what's next in her life, then obviously I'm sure she's going to be bound for some pretty big stuff as well down the line. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun in Las Vegas. Again, if you head on over right now to our Twitter page or our Facebook page and let me know what I should be doing when I get to Las Vegas. Oh, also, before we get out of here, I wanted we did get a text from our guy Paul in Phoenix. We were talking about UNLV basketball and the demise, how that program really on the men's side has not been relevant in 35 years. Paul in Phoenix said, "I've said it before. I still have nightmares about Anderson Hunt hitting that three-pointer late in the game against the Wildcats."
I couldn't ask Kenny because that shot was over Kenny Lofton, and there was an offensive foul. But I couldn't say, "Hey, Mr. Lofton, do you still have nightmares about Anderson Hunt?" Because we all still do. To me, I mean, that was the best team I saw with my own eyes. That was Sean Elliott's senior year, Kenny Lofton's senior year. That team was like 36-2, something like that, when they lost that game. But, again, I think you look at the talent that UNLV has around them. I mean, there's still some really high-level high schools, and there's some of those basketball factories. I just think it takes the right coach. But I'm worried about that league, right? I mean, I think if you it's hard to recruit players to come to a league where you're not playing marquee matchups on a regular basis on national television. I think that's the landscape we're in. It's all about having exposure.
No question about that. They've got to get to a better league probably for that whole situation.
Also, Tom called back in. He's like, wasn't there something between Lute and Tarkanian? And I reminded him it was because they were both at Long Beach State. So Tarkanian was a coach before Lute Olson took over at Long Beach State for the 1 year. But the big problem that they had was Tom Tolbert, because Tom Tolbert committed to go play for Tarkanian UNLV and 11th hour switched to come to Tucson and play for Lute. This was I think it was a junior college player at the time. And so that really put a wrench in their relationship. And ever since then, Lute and Tark were not friendly.
Not at all. Not at all, man. Those great rivalries, though. Great rivalries between coaches and players and teams. And reminds me, again, taking me back to my college days. College days swiftly pass, as we like to say, in the fraternity that I've now been in for 35 years as of this evening at 9 Noel. Here it would be 10/19/06 when I crossed the burning sands. So shout out to all my Alpha brothers from the 3489 line way back in the day. All right, now that is going to wrap up our program. Thanks to J-Dub. Thanks to Cricket. As always, most of all, thanks to you for listening. Again, we'll be in Las Vegas on Tuesday. That's right, LVNV. Get the bottle service going because DK's coming to town. We'll be there for 2 weeks. Pac-12 basketball. Join us. Have a great night, everybody. That's my time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. We'll talk to you from Las Vegas on Tuesday.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported golf links in Swan near Davis Month and Swan and golf links. Wentworth Road at I-10. Prince Road and Stone Avenue reported, and also clearing Wilma in Sahuarita. Overnight tonight, about 46 is our overnight low with clear skies. 74, partly cloudy tomorrow. 50% chance of rain on Thursday. 70 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal. Or rather, it's 10 big deals.